What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to Transfer Deadline Day here on Anfield Agenda. And look, there's no point in me being sugarcoating this. It isn't what we hoped it was going to be. It isn't what we expected it. Well, maybe it is what we expected it to be after all. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stay with you good folks right through until 11 p.m. tonight till the window slams shut. It is embarrassing, as I'm seeing in the chat. It is frustrating. It is unacceptable. And it is all kinds of everything that we will go through. It's going to be a long stream tonight. So we'll have plenty of time to get through all of your comments. I'm going to be joined by Jack Gill a little bit later on. He should be popping in around 9 o'clock or so. Connor is in the background on audio. He might pop in and out as well sometimes. But most importantly, I want to hear from you guys tonight, because I will vent as the night goes on. I have a lot I want to talk about. Of course, I want to talk about how I view today and announcing Jordan Henderson's deal as disrespectful. And I would massively disagree with what Simon Jordan had to say on the matter. We all knew Simon Jordan, as an example, was on TalkSport or whatever station it was earlier on, saying that it could have just been a coincidence that they happened to finally get the deal tied up and announced today. We're not idiots. You know, I'm not having to go with Simon Jordan here, by the way, but we're not idiots. We knew. We said it yesterday that this is, to me, a PR stunt. And I'll go as far as to say I actually find it disrespectful to Jordan Henderson that his contract announcement was put out today of all days. And I wouldn't be surprised if between now and the time that transfer window slams shut at 11 o'clock, if we have a Mohamed Salah announcement just to really try and cover up the inefficiency or the deficit in our transfer window. It's like what we said all along. You give these fuckers the benefit of the doubt in any way, shape, or form, and they will absolutely come back and stick two fingers up to the fan base. Like what we've said all along, tone deaf. Tone deaf is the phrase that keeps coming to mind, ladies and gentlemen. And for them to announce Jordan Henderson's contract renewal today, I find it really disrespectful to Hendo, because look, we're all delighted, and rightly so, that Hendo signed a new deal. We knew he'd signed a new deal at least 10 days ago. It was public knowledge. We knew what it was going to be, a 3-year deal. We knew there'd be an option of a 4-year deal. Everybody knew it. But of course, the PR machine that is FSG waited until today to put it out there, to try and appease the fans. If anything, I think it's done nothing but cause more of a backlash. And a backlash, might I add, that is deserved at this point, because so much to go through. We talked Nat Phillips and the way he could have been leaving this morning, but suddenly later on in the evening has signed a 4-year contract renewal. Now let's just sit with that for a second. Nat Phillips was available to be sold right up until this morning. And then all of a sudden, because there was no interest at the price that Liverpool were interested in, he got given a new 4-year deal. Now, I've got no problems with Nat Phillips signing a new deal. Having 5 decent centre-backs at the club is no harm whatsoever. But again, it just goes to show, scrambling thinking, last minute. He was available to be sold right up until the last minute, when then all of a sudden we decided we needed to hang on to a 5th-choice centre-back and gave him a 4-year deal. Again, no issues for Nat, but it is massively disrespectful. Oh, I'm absolutely fucking fuming, ladies and gentlemen. And excuse me. No, do you know what? I'm not excusing my language. My language is deserved today. Today is the day. Today is the day where I officially state that I am in the FSG out camp, 2-footed. And I don't care anymore. A friend is back. I can't give you the trophy tonight. Owen, but good evening to you, mate. And thank you for the, again, extremely generous super chat, dude. You're a prince amongst paupers, mate. I mean, that's probably the best way I can describe it. I don't even know why I'm smiling. I'm smiling, obviously, because Owen is such a nice guy. But deep down here, I'm absolutely fuming. That contract is like what the Glazers do to United. There's a super chat coming in there from Palmarius. The contract is like what the Glazers do to United. It is. It's 2 fingers, mate, isn't it? And oh, look, I'd love to know, Owen, I'd love to know your thoughts on what's going on here at the minute, mate, as well. What have we got? Mbappe announcement. Somebody said at 22:59. Yeah, as if. There's so much to pull out of this today, ladies and gentlemen. And it's just not acceptable. Like, again, we'll break it down as much as we can. And it's going to be a long stream. I'm going to be on here till 11 o'clock tonight. So strap yourselves in, because I'm going to give you guys a chance to have your say. All the deals and all the breaking news and all the bits and pieces that has happened, you will see going across the bottom of your screen, like right there now. And look, I've got a couple of other bits, a new promotion that we want to talk to you guys about as well, but we'll leave that for a little bit later. Yeah, so a load of people I go with this one as well. Owen, just go buy out FSG. Yeah, please do, Owen. You have all of our support, mate. We'll get behind you. Dan James leaves and goes to Lee. Craig, did you see my comment in your video from earlier? Could you read it out on the stream? I didn't see it, mate. We get lots of comments on lots of videos, so I'm not quite sure what it is, but put it back into the chat there tonight, and I'll try my best to get it up. This is going... See, you've nailed it, mate. Neil, I think you've nailed it. This is going to snowball now. This is going to get to the point where there is no way back. There is no way back. None whatsoever. Absolutely no way back now for these owners. And look, I know that there are people who will still back the owners. They're entitled to their own opinions. All I ever claim to do on here is give you guys my opinion. And my opinion is that these owners have once again fucked over Jurgen Klopp and fucked over the fan base by their lack of investment in the football club. And they can't use COVID as an excuse. I'm sorry. We brought in more money than we spent in this transfer window yet again. Look at the amount of deals that have taken place. Even today, look at the deals that have taken place. Are you telling me that we couldn't have tried to go in for Camavinga? Now, whether we wanted to go to Real Madrid or not, I accept. But 25, 30 million euro, you're telling me that Liverpool couldn't put together that kind of money for a player that everybody and their grandmother knows is a generational talent, and yet he's off to Real Madrid. Real Madrid again putting in another crazy bid. They're after putting in a bid for, what was it, 180 something million for PSG, which again I believe for Mbappe from PSG, which again has been turned down. Here's Owen again. Where's Owen's comment? I'm just confused as to why the players like Reece Williams are getting new contracts. He's never going to play for us again. It's such a waste of money, Craig, that can be used elsewhere. Yes. So for those that aren't aware, as again, going across the bottom of the screen there now, excuse me, who was it? Reece Williams, yes, has gone on loan for the season, but before he did go on loan, signed a new contract. So it looks like this summer has been about new contracts being dished out left, right, and centre, and that's all right. None of us have any issues with some of the players that have gotten new contracts. Now, there's a mock image going around at the minute, of course, of Origi getting a new contract, and that's just simply not true. I've also seen James Pearce come in for a little bit of stick from people on Twitter, which I think is very unfair, because as of this morning, as I said, Nat Phillips was still available to be bought for the right money, and James Pearce said as much. We all knew it all summer, but then it changed very quickly, of course. The new contract FC acted again and gave a new contract to him. And again, no issues with Nat Phillips getting a new contract. But how can you be so willing to get rid of a player and then change your mind and give him a new contract? So we're often told that these new contract renewals take a long time to work out. How quickly was that one worked out? How quickly did we change from bye-bye Nat to thank you, Nat, and here's a new 4-year deal? It just goes to show that we have moved into a place of desperation. And this is the start of the decline, I believe. And the start of FSG thought the kickback after the Super League was bad. I think it's only going to ramp up from this point onwards, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a lot of unhappy Liverpool fans around the world right now that I've got to say have very good reason to be unhappy. I have to caveat everything I say by saying the following. Everybody I'm aware of, most of the people in our chat, all of my mates who support Liverpool, nobody has any doubts around the manager or the playing staff. We just want the depth to be able to give the manager the opportunity to go out and really fight for trophies. Because let's look at it. They've closed the gap. If there was a gap, United have probably closed it. Chelsea have closed it, if not surpassed us. And, of course, Manchester City have done what they always do, and they go out there and add to the positions that they need to strengthen. 100 million for Jack Grealish. I actually seen a Manchester City fan moaning that the club didn't bring in another fullback and saying that he wants the board out. Are you kidding me? How many 50 or 40 million pound fullbacks has Pep Guardiola signed since he came into Manchester City? And we as Liverpool fans are yet again being left as the laughingstock of football fan bases. For what? For showing any little trust in these greedy fuckers from America who don't seem to care. And you can say to me, Craig, next summer this, next summer that. What if we're in the Europa Conference League next summer? What if we're in a situation like this season where we think we're covered, but then all of a sudden, Bobby Firmino maybe is out. Diogo Jota's out. Salah picks up a knock. Where are we? We know where we are, folks. We're up shit creek without a paddle. Now, you can say to me, Craig, Divock Origi's still there. We haven't gotten rid of him. It tells you everything you need to know about Divock Origi, that he wasn't even in the fucking matchday squad against Chelsea because the club had planned to sell him. Now, if the club haven't been able to sell him, that should tell us something. If nobody is willing to buy Divock Origi at the type of money that we're offering from, how the fuck is he good enough to fit into a team that wants to go and win the Premier League again or wants to go and win the Champions League again based on his performances or lack of over the last 18 months? There's so many stupid questions here that are easily answered. I think I missed another super chat, so just let me scroll up. We are working on the fly here tonight. And again, ladies and gentlemen, there's loads of time for us today to get through stuff because I'm going to be on here till 11. Right, here's a point that I'm, of course, willing to read out. You and everybody else need to calm down. We have a strong side. We need a striker, I agree. Wait for next summer and you'll see. Chill. We all have a team. Now, I respect that, Clint. I respect your opinion, mate. And, you know, the romantic part of me is with you to some extent, mate. The romantic part of me does believe in the group of players. But, Clint, the problem being, my friend, that we know what happens if we run the risk. We know what happens if we don't get cover. You're already sold on next summer, mate. Like, you're sold on that now. Do you honestly believe that the goalposts won't be moved, Clint, between now and next summer? Because next summer, I'll tell you already what will happen. One of the front three is going to be sold. And then we might add 15 or 20 million and bring in 2 players. That's pretty much what's going to happen, Clint. So I don't disrespect you in any way, mate. I appreciate where you're coming from. And I love the fact you're getting behind the manager and the players. But the owners have no goodwill. In my book, that's just me, dude. No goodwill left from me whatsoever. But I will always respect somebody who types it in like you have. Very respectful manner. You have every right to get your point across, mate. And I just have a different point of view. So this isn't going to be a stream of Craig shouting down people and stuff. I'm going to try and be rational. I'm going to give my view. But before I do, ladies and gentlemen, I do just want to pitch one thing to you really quickly. As you can see in the top corner of the screen there now, we are working with a brand new partner. We are working with the Ultimate Fan. Ultimate Fan is a new free fantasy football game that incorporates the concept of FIFA packs into the experience. Once you've signed up with the link in the description below, you'll be given a free 10-card pack to put into your team, and you'll score points based on things such as goals, assists, shots on target, tackles won, and clean sheets. Now, you've probably seen Ultimate Fan being advertised elsewhere. It is a great product from the makers of Low 6. You'll also receive a free 3-player pack, every Tuesday of the 38 Premier League game weeks. There's a £300,000 prize pot to be won over the season. And best of all, there's prizes to be won every single game week. So it doesn't matter if you've missed the first couple of weeks. The game itself is completely free to play. But you can also buy gold and silver packs to improve your team. But that is completely optional. And the most that they allow you to spend, the very most anybody can spend, is £5 per month. This game week alone, there was over £8,500 given in prizes, with places down to 300th winning some money. You must be 18 years of age or older to enter, a resident of UK and Ireland to play. And again, it's completely free and you must give it a bash. Why not? Get yourself a chance. Cost nothing. You could win some money. There's a 300 grand prize pool there. As I said, just use our link in the description below. That brings you in. Think of it as like a fantasy football / FIFA pack opening concept. It is a brilliant product from the company behind Low 6. Get yourselves with the link in the description over. It really helps us out as well. If you use our link, it lets them know that we sent you. And as I said, the max you can spend is £5 a month, but you don't need to spend a penny, and you can win as much as £8,500 in a week, or a part of that £300,000 prize pool. Wow, for free. Which is absolute. That's the reason why we sign up with these. We only sign up with companies that we think will benefit our users. And look, it's free. We all love a bit of FPL. I know a lot of you guys out there are FIFA players as well. So why not combine the two into one brilliant new product? And hey, we'll have a bit of fun along the way. We'll do a few videos and that throughout the season as well. Right, here we go. Norwegian reporters have flown to Liverpool and are claiming we have a surprise signing right before the window closes. Was on the news 30 minutes ago, and that comes in from Jurgen Karlsson. I don't know anything about that dude, but I'd be interested. Mate, I'd be interested. What have we got? It's another dickhead having a go at my hair. Right, let's bring this one up on the screen. Honestly, mate, I'm American. Are we all shite or just the American owners? Did I Did I go in any way towards nationality here, mate? I don't believe, honestly, to the best of my knowledge there, Brace DeVille, I don't believe I've mentioned anything about nationality. Again, if I have, I'm open to be corrected, but I don't believe I have. So did anybody say that you were all shit? Has anybody had a go at the country? I certainly haven't. And no, you're not all bad. Of course not. Half a load of our chat are from America. I've got many American friends, mate. Our chief moderator is an American. So nobody is saying that you're all shit. What we are saying is that FSG are a bunch of cheap bastards. That's categorically what I'm saying. They're a bunch of cheap bastards who are tone deaf to what the fans want. That's my point. Nothing against your country, mate. Never said that about America. So I've no idea why you're getting your knickers in a twist around that one, dude. What have we got? He said nothing about Americans. Exactly. Nothing. It's just somebody wanting to invent another reason to be angry for something I didn't say. So I don't know, mate. Nobody's having a pop at your nationality, but there you go. Am I going to sit here and say that, look, I've always promised you one thing on Anfield Agenda and one thing alone, and that's honesty. And that's what I've given you from day one. And I like to think that that's why we've grown to 118,000 subscribers, because people understand that come hell or high water, I will say what I believe to be my truth. If you like that, fine. If you don't like that, I'm very happy to debate it in a courteous manner. But I definitely didn't have a pop at your nationality, dude. Why would I? I visit your country a lot. I like America. Nothing bad to say about it. So I just don't understand, mate, where you're getting your knickers in a twist. But again, you've every right to get your comment across. Right, another one's from Elusive Blue said, I intentionally refrained from buying a shirt this season as I wanted to see what happened in transfers. I won't spend any more money on this club whilst FSG are in control. FSG out, said Elusive Glue. Thank you for that one, Jeff. Much appreciated. Old Devlin has said, sorry, let me just move this up a little bit so I can read it properly. Why are we the only club who have to choose between new contracts and transfers? Every other club managers can do both. I'm tired of our tight owners. Do you know what, mate? I'll go even a step further from that one. As per what I told you guys the other day, these contract renewals aren't necessarily bad news for the football club with regards to the financial side of it. Now, of course, I am not an accountant, but I have read stuff from people far more qualified than I that suggests that because we've renewed all these players' contracts, Van Dijk, Fabinho, Trent, Robbo, Hendo, Quivin, Kelleher, Harvey Elliott, I think was Musialowski signed a new deal, loads of other players. Their fee or their value, I'm not sure which one of the two, I think it's their fee, can be amortized across the now remaining length of their contract. So let's say the club still had 30 million quid left to pay for Van Dijk, just as an example, or he's still valued at whatever. Let's just say 30 million quid left. Well, now, rather than that being spread on the club's balance sheet over 2 years, it can now be amortized over the new length of his contract, meaning that on the books, it looks like we're spending less and we've got more valuable assets. So, again, I come back to your question or to old Devlin's comment. I don't know, mate. I don't know. And they didn't give these contract renewals just for the good of their health. They did it because they wanted to keep good players at the club. And that is a good thing. The contract renewals are a good thing. I don't think any of us are unhappy to see that Van Dijk and all the players we spoke about sign new deals. In fact, we embrace it. But as old Devlin has said, why should one be to the detriment of the other? Now, we've been told all summer that the plan was to bring in an attacking player. And the plan was to maybe bring in a midfielder. But that we had to offload a lot of fringe players. We've done most of that. Where's the new player? Where's the new attacking player? Harvey Elliott, where is he? Is he an attacker or a midfielder? If he's a midfielder and he's taking Gini's minutes along with Curtis Jones, sound. Still need an attacker because Divock Origi still ain't the answer. Mbappe has rejected a new €45 million a year contract at PSG. That tells you how much he wants out of there to get to Real Madrid. Right, let's get to some more of your comments. This gentleman believes that they want the fans to say we want to be in the Super League. Well, I'm never going to utter those words, mate. Never will the words I want Liverpool to be in the Super League come from my mouth. Never. Hey, Craig, any news on Damsgaard? Not that I'm aware of, mate. No, there was, again, some talk yesterday that Liverpool may make a last-ditch attempt to sign the Sampdoria player, but as of right now, sorry, I've just got to change my phone there to make sure I can see WhatsApp in case something comes in. As of right now, and everything that we and the mainstream media have been briefed, there will be no business done by Liverpool between now and the end of the window. Damsgaard is set to stay at Sampdoria. He's with the Denmark camp right now. So there you go. There is another good one. Right, I'm going to get through as many of these as I can. Sorry, I'm scrolling through, and here we go. Colin, thank you very much, Colin, for your super chat. You're extremely kind. Irish/Leeds United fan, both love this show, my brother. My missus hates you, as you're always on my TV. I was wondering what I'd done to your missus there. I was thinking, oh my God, I hope I haven't insulted this poor woman. But anyway, shout out to your missus. Hello, and I'm sorry for you being on your television and annoying your fella. Anyway, keep up the great work. Sorry it's not as big as last night. But go on, Craig. Thank you, man. You're so generous. And look, my miss, if it makes your missus feel any better, mate, my missus gets wound up by me singing a lot as well. So, she has to suffer in silence upstairs while I'm down here singing on a match day. But that is very kind of you, mate. Thank you so much for your support. Right. I'm trying to just glance at your comments, read the bottom of the screen, and try to get my own points across as well. Again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget about the Ultimate Fan Game, though. Link in the description. Let me know in the chat if you've signed up to the game, and I'll give you a shout out as well, because this can be a huge thing for the channel. If we get enough people to come on board and play this game with us, we can really, really, really take this channel places. This is a huge opportunity for us. And the reason that we signed up to work with them is because it is an entirely free game. And as I said earlier on, there is a link in the description. Last match week alone, there was over 8.5 grand given out. It's free to play. The most you can spend in an entire month is a £5. So, don't think of this as a form of gambling or whatever. And there is a £300,000 prize pool there. So, yeah, let me know in the chat if you've signed up to it, and I'll give you a shout out. The more people we get in, the better. Right, how many hours left? 3 hours, 5 minutes, and 55 seconds as of right now, my man. I've got Sky Sports News on in the background. I've got my phone here. I will be joined by Jack Gill at 9 o'clock. But mostly, the reason we're on so long tonight is I want to give you guys a chance to vent, because I know you need to. I know there's a lot of anger out there that needs to be released, and I want you guys to have an opportunity to have your say, because as always, this is a community channel. Bradley said, hi, Bulls, missed the last 2 nights stream. What's the situation with Michael Edwards? Be devastating if we were to lose him. Right, so as of right now, Michael Edwards' contract is due to run out at Liverpool at the end of this campaign. Liverpool are trying to convince him to stay. Obviously, Hogan, Klopp, the rest of the guys are all going to want him to stay. We do have somebody that was brought in as his understudy that could be put in to do a job, and apparently is very capable. But of course, some of the business that we've seen under Michael Edwards has been sensational. It's become somewhat of a myth. Not a myth. How do I say this? A superhero with a bit of mystique around him to us Liverpool fans. So I do hope that the club can convince Michael Edwards that the club is where he wants to be. But, the lingering question is at the back of your mind. Is Michael Edwards leaving the club because he genuinely fancies a new career path or a change of scenery? Or is he getting a little bit frustrated that his hands are tied and he can't do any moves? Or what's the point in being part of a transfer committee when we can't make transfers? I genuinely don't know. But either way, none of us want Michael Edwards to leave. He started out his career, I believe, playing for Peterborough as a footballer, then started working with Harry Redknapp, obviously on the analytical side of things, and he's made his way right through to the very top here at Liverpool to be our chief negotiator, and he's done a fantastic job in all of the contracts that he's got sorted out. So yeah, here's hoping that he does stay. Right, Chicken Boy said, here's my vent. We should have signed Rafinha and or Doku. Sorry, man, just pull this back down. Or should have signed Rafinha and or Doku. Firmino possibly out for months or more. Look, we still don't know what the situation is with Roberto Firmino, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I don't think it's an accident that we're not finding out before the transfer window closes. I think this will be dropped after the transfer window closes, when there's fuck all we can do about it anyway. And it ain't looking pretty, but we all need to remember we are still Liverpool. See, that's it. That's where they have us, though, isn't it? That's where FSG have us. They know that we won't turn on Klopp. They know that we won't turn on the players, but we will turn on the owners. And we have to find a way to make our voices heard without negatively impacting Jurgen Klopp and the players. How to do that? That's the difficult part, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Is a protest the right thing? Is stopping buying merchandise the right thing? These were the decisions that I'm sure others far more powerful and far more influential in the fan bases than I will try and put together. And they'll always have my support on that, because the Super League was my last straw. But I was willing to give them somewhat of a benefit of the doubt for this transfer window, in the hope that what we'd always heard, that if generational talents became available, that's why we've been scrimping and saving over the last few years, so that we can be in play and we can make moves for these generational talents. How many are available or have moved or will move in this window? And we've sat here with our hands under our arses doing absolutely SFA. And it's quite frankly not good enough. What's the point? What's the point? What is Jurgen Klopp supposed to do? Last year, we pulled a miracle, pulled a rabbit out of the hat by being able to go and get Champions League football for a group of owners that don't fucking deserve it, because they left Klopp scrounging around on transfer deadline day for a loan signing from Schalke and a really cheap signing in Ben Davies as well, who still hasn't played. That's what we have. Whether we want to admit this as a fan base or not, this is where we are right now. We have owners that only are interested in looking after themselves on the bottom line. That is the truth. The Super League showed us that. Whatever we think about next summer FC and all of this other nonsense, they showed us. They showed us this summer that they have no intent to back a generational talent of a manager who has already delivered, in the pittance that he's been given to work with, has already delivered a Premier League, a Champions League, a Club World Cup, and a Super Cup by being able to wheel and deal. We've seen record shirt sales year on year. A new shirt deal with Nike that was supposed to bring the club up to around about a guesstimation of about £75 million a year. £30 million guaranteed, and 20% of all Liverpool Nike branded products. That's, they reckon, will work out at about 75 million a year, roughly the same amount that Manchester United are getting from Adidas. Then we hear that we've got all these great new commercial partnerships around the world. Liverpool's matchday pie seller, Liverpool's coconut water, Liverpool blah-de blah-de blah 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 blah. But there's always a caveat, isn't it? We've done this, but we've got all of these great things, but it always comes, there's always a but. There's always an add-on. There's always a we would have done this, but. And I don't know about you people, but I'm not buying into next summer, because something will happen or be spun between now and then which allows these cheap fuckers off the hook yet again. Now, what are they going to do if Klopp leaves? Will they sell up? Will they sell up when Klopp leaves? Is that their plan already? Are they hoping to just ride this out until 2024, and then when they bring in a new manager, flog the club, make all of their money, and piss off on John W. Henry's yacht into the sunset with two fingers up to the rest of us? We'll have to wait and see. But I've no trust left. None. Sorry, I'm going to try and make sure I didn't miss any of these super chats. Owen Evans said, had to make another account. Owen Evans 2.0. Why? Just, you don't need to be lashing. Again, thank you, Owen, but why? I can't bring this comment up on stream because it's gone a little bit too far up, Owen, so I'm reading it out for you here. I had to make another account. Owen, you're very generous, mate. Thank you. Have I done this one? Yeah, I've done that one. And yeah, I've done that one. Grant, I thought I'd missed some super chats. I hadn't. Okay, here's a difference of opinion that I'm more than happy to discuss, mate. I appreciate your point. And it's from our friend 1975 Jamrock as well. Sorry, but Klopp is part of the problem. I'm going to try and have a guess at what you're talking about, mate, and I hope I get the right gist of it. But if I don't, of course, feel free to put it into the chat, mate, and I'll do my best. So I'm assuming that you mean Klopp's part of the problem because he hasn't publicly backlashed against the owners, or because he said that there aren't players out there maybe who can come in and replace or be as good as the options that we currently have. Again, mate, I'm guessing here because I don't know your inner thoughts, of course. But my answer to that will be this. I don't think even Jurgen Klopp believes that. Because if Jurgen Klopp believes that we've got the dynamism of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, we've got the line-breaking ability of Naby Keita, and Divock Origi can do a job for us, then why the fuck did none of them come on against Chelsea when we needed to break down a team who were sitting deep against us? Surely Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's dynamic running would have been perfect for that. He loves a shot from distance as well. Divock Origi wasn't even in the match day squad. So my view, Jamrock Miel, mate, has always been that Klopp is just being a statesman. And I don't know what he's like behind the scenes. I've got no idea if Klopp is fuming at the owners behind the scenes, if he's spitting feathers, or if he's calm. I genuinely don't know. But what I would expect from our manager is to do what he's always done. Look after his players, look after his side of it, and try and do as well as he can. If his hands are tied, his hands are tied. But I don't believe that he's happy, nor would I genuinely expect him to come out and do a Rafa and go against the board. It's not in Klopp's nature. And look, maybe that's what you mean by that's part of the problem. I don't know, mate, but I'm, again, happy to have the discussion. All points of view are welcome on tonight's stream. I want everybody to have a chance to have their say. I think we need to protest is a comment in from Diogo Jota. Klopp supports, unfortunately, said Chris Nicholson. Publicly, probably, yeah. I would agree with you, mate. But, you know, I don't believe, like, let's take today in isolation. As I said, this morning, Nat Phillips was available to be sold. If Burnley or Brighton or anybody else came in and put the offer of 12 to 15 million quid on the table, Nat Phillips would have been given a pat on the back, thank you for a job well done, and wish him best of luck in his new career choice, right? So that happened. No bids came in. And then later on this evening, around tea time, Nat Phillips was given a new contract by the football club. Where's the rationale behind that? Where's the reasoning behind that? That's not forward planning. What would have happened if Phillips had have gone? Would we have gone and replaced the centre-back? Because Reece Williams went out on loan. And Reece Williams, to be fair, as good as he has been, isn't ready yet. So I've no issues with Nat Phillips. Nat Phillips signing on, sound, no issues. If he's happy being fifth choice centre-back, have at it. Stay at the football club, appreciate everything he did for us. But there's just no cohesion here. And again, I will ask, does anybody think that it is an accident that Jordan Henderson's contract renewal was put out today when we knew 10 days ago? Public knowledge, 10 days ago, 3 years and another potential year on top of it. And there it is, out today. For what reason? To try and pacify a fan base. But all that is done, unfortunately, is seeing some people be snidey in the comment section underneath when they should be, and most people have been, to be fair, but it was always going to happen. There was always going to be some people that were going, what about a signing? What about a signing? Whereas we should be celebrating Jordan Henderson. We should be congratulating him on the new contract. And we should be looking forward to having the skipper with us for the next 3 years. But they've undermined their own fucking captain by doing that. That's how disrespectful these fuckers are. So again, I turn to you and say, FSG have no interest in doing what is best for the club. FSG only want to look after the bottom line. They have gotten us the Premier League trophy. They have gotten us the Champions League. Maybe they think that's it now. They can sit in their laurels, coast through, hoping for Champions League football every season, decent television revenue, and will tickle along, and hopefully a player or two comes through in the academy, and that'll get them through till they decide to sell the club. That is not acceptable. That is not acceptable when you have a manager that comes around once in a lifetime at the helm and has already worked miracles. I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. Look, nothing that I can say. And when 11 o'clock, when that bell tolls at 11 o'clock tonight, I promise you one thing and one thing only. I will be fully behind Jurgen Klopp and every player that is signed into Liverpool Football Club. My attention will go straight to supporting them every single day, every game week, every single training session. But the ownership, that's a completely different scenario. This is just going to mobilise Liverpool fans into doing what was done under Hicks and Gillette, probably, only maybe in a different way. They really keep underestimating the fume and the ire from Liverpool fans with the decisions that they make that are just tone deaf and don't listen to anything that anybody with any footballing knowledge or ability has to say. It is blatantly clear we need a striking option or an attacking option. Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane are going to go off to the AFCON. Granted, that's only going to be a maximum of 3 games. But we're only 3 games into the season. And Roberto Firmino, we don't know what the news is. You know, there are rumours. We don't live off rumours. We live off facts. But there are rumours out there that he may be out for longer than we'd expected. If that is the case, then let's rewind ourselves back to that day against Chelsea. Bobby Firmino had to come off the pitch. Our only real attacking option was brought on. That was it. Card was played at 45 minutes. Second half, what did we do? We brought on Thiago. That is an acceptable move. You want to speed the ball up. You want to try and move it quick. You want to try play those precise balls. Fair enough. But then when it came time with 5 minutes to go, when Chelsea had fully just sat back and absorbed what we'd thrown at them, because they could make the changes from the bench to bring on Thiago Silva when they had a man sent off, and they could sit back, be compact, and make us say, come on, come break us down. We brought on another left back. That was our only option. Robbo was absolutely knackered, hadn't had his best game, and we only could bring on Costa Simicas. We didn't have another tricky forward. There was no Divock Origi. Didn't believe enough in Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita. So if you don't believe enough in the big moments against the big teams and the players that are in the squad, how can we be expected to believe that throughout the course of the season, these guys are going to be good enough to stand up? Let's look at that Champions League game, or that Chelsea game as a Champions League game. If we were chasing that game, if we needed a goal, there was none to be had. That's the problem. That's why we're fuming. Because it's been the same story. Always 1 or 2 injuries away from fucking Armageddon. And yeah, here we are again. Same story, year after year after year. Show of faith after show of faith from the fans. We get just a knife in the back from the owners and a massive fuck you. That's my thoughts. That's where I am at this moment in time. Right, some more of your comments to get through. Sorry, so I'm just scrolling through. Where it is. I knew I'd seen a yellow one somewhere. Right, Aditya, a United fan. Says, United fan here. Big up to you guys. Amazing content here. Honestly, one question for you, Craig. One signing you want to see on each top 4 club should make this season. Well, so the funny thing about that, dude, is most of the clubs will have made it. So Manchester City, of course, didn't bring in a striker. They probably would have wanted that. They wanted Kane. I'm surprised they didn't move for Haaland. United, they just need a 6. That's it now. United have gone out there. They brought in Sancho. They brought in a centre-back. Ronaldo's the cherry on top of the pie for United fans. They've sold Dan James to Leeds. So they need a number 6. They're sorted out in the attacking department. That's the only thing. They've already finished ahead of us last season for various reasons. Then you look at the other club in the top 4. Who am I missing out here? Chelsea. Well, look. Chelsea's business speaks for itself. And by the way, before anybody throws their toys out of the pram and said that Chelsea's owned by Roman Abramovich, who, just spends an ungodly amount of money, have a look at the amount of money Chelsea brought in this window through player sales. Before you come to the we can't match Chelsea, have a look at how much they generated in this window in player sales, and you might be very, very, very surprised to see it. But they still brought in just short of 100 million quid from Romelu Lukaku. They still tried to sign Jules Koundé, and they're just about to sign Saul Niguez from Atletico on loan. Where's our ambition? We got somebody in to cover a problem from last season. So we're now playing catch-up in transfers, whereas we had built to a position of strength. This team can only do so much. There's only so many rabbits that can be pulled out of hats by the manager and the players. They need the reinforcements. They need the backing. They need the new faces in the changing room to shake it up. And they're not getting that support. Craig, somebody said, Craig, has the Edwards situation occurred because of this, or is it the cause of this? Well, his contract was up. So, it was one of those things where his contract was up anyway. And maybe he just decided that he wants to run. He wants to go. He wants to cut ties and go. I don't know. But it isn't done and dusted on the Michael Edwards front just yet because, we could well get Michael Edwards to sign up. But what's the point of having a Michael Edwards if he's not able to go out there and do what he does best, which is maneuver in the transfer market? This man brought us in Andy Robertson by being able to sell Kevin Stewart to Hull for pretty much in and around the same fee. This man negotiated the sales of Dominic Solanke and the like for ridiculous amounts of money. He is a genius. He is a master at his trade. And we have built a very good squad through player sales and excellent recruitment. In this window, though, we've had a year to try and get rid of Origi, actually. A year. And are you telling me that they cannot find a single taker anywhere for Divock Origi? And if that is the case, then that tells us everything we need to know. Why is he still at Liverpool Football Club if he's not good enough? If nobody else, if no other Premier League club will come in and take Origi, how have we not moved him on? Surely to God we could have gotten some money for him and got his wages off the books and freed up an overseas squad place for a player that may actually have a future at the club. Right. What else we go? Again, on the subject, somebody said, hey, Craig, do you think Divock could get one more chance after all he's done for the club? No, I don't, mate. Because football is a ruthless business. And Divock Origi, when he has been given opportunities, he just hasn't looked up to it. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence or if he doesn't feel the love. Or I don't know. I can't say what goes on inside Divock Origi's head. But we know what he's capable of. We've seen the few glimpses of magic, but he's never been able to do it. He's never going to realistically challenge that front 3 or 4, is he? If we're being honest with ourselves. The drop-off there is just immense. So what happens when we do play a couple of league games when Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane are away? And let's say worst-case scenario, by the way. Both of those dudes are away at the AFCON and Bobby picks up, let's say, a muscle injury that keeps him out for a month during that time. What are we going to do then? We've got Diogo Jota and what? Divock Origi and Harvey Elliott. That's if Harvey Elliott isn't the midfielder, by the way, that we're being led to believe he now is at Liverpool. So where are the options? Are we forced to bring young Musialowski in already? Cade Gordon, 16 years of age. I'll repeat that. 16 years of age. And we're maybe putting the pressure on him to come in and be the solution? Cade Gordon has undoubted ability and it will be a star. But 16 years of age. It's too much too soon to ask of that young man. Our squad has no depth. See, you could do out a sheet of paper that shows that we have 2 or 3 players in most positions, but it's the quality of that depth that I believe is what is lacking. So Nico Williams is the backup to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't think he is good enough to be the backup to Trent Alexander-Arnold. But we had been told that Nico Williams had indicated to the club after the Euros that he might fancy a move away and that if an offer comes in, again, he was available. So if he was available to be sold and the club weren't going to stand in his way, isn't that an admission that he isn't good enough? From the club, not from me, from the club. But they couldn't do it. So now we've got Nico Williams as a backup to Trent. Or does Conor Bradley come in and Nico Williams just goes off into the wilderness? I don't know. Left back, looks like we're sorted. Costa Simic is brilliant. Centre-back options, Whitnap, Phillips signing that new deal. 5 centre-backs, nobody's arguing there. So it looks like the back line and the goalkeeper situation, I think most of us are happy with. Move into midfield now. Let's say Harvey Elliott's a midfielder. Give them the benefit of the doubt that he can play the 50 games or that those 50 games can be shared around the midfield. So we've got Jordan Henderson, a little bit injury prone as Father Time is catching up on and his legs are perhaps slowing down a bit, but still an important influential figure, part of the club. James Milner, again, can only do so much. Thiago, bit hit and miss at Liverpool, capable of things, but has had a fair few injuries as well. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita, both of them have horrendous injury records through no fault of their own. Nobody wants to be injured, but they have tremendously bad injury records. So then what do we have? Fabinho. So where do we cover all these games from if we have a little injury crisis? Curtis Jones is there as well, of course. But then there was talk of Villa being interested in him. Thankfully, that came to nothing because, quite frankly, I couldn't even envision a situation where the club are stupid enough to sell Curtis Jones for 15 million quid. But the real problem comes when we look at the top of the attack. We've got Bobby Firmino, Diogo Jota, Sadio Mane, who's not been in great form for a whole season now. Firmino again, some questionable form, but looks like there are signs of Bobby getting back to his best. So let's work on an optimistic scenario that he does. Mohamed Salah, look, the man's numbers speak for themselves. Hopefully, he's tied down to a new deal, is what we all want. After that, Diogo Jota and fuck all else. Because I'm not going to listen to the Divock Origi nonsense. Because we've already the club's decided he's not good enough. I'm not saying it. Not in a matchday squad. tells us everything we need to know about where he's thought of at the club right now. So everybody can say all the right things to the media, and everybody that's friendly with the club can play all nicey, but I'll do what I've always done. Speak my truth as a fan, and the truth is that these fucking clowns have yet again stuck 2 fingers up to the Liverpool fan base after trying to sell us down the river. It's not good enough. I'm sorry. It's just not good enough. I think they're about to feel the full backlash of Liverpool fans. I really, really, really do. And I fear that they felt they've already seen this, by the way, after the Super League fiasco and that bullshit apology that they put out, which I posted today, by the way, in a sarcastic way, of course, is we heard you. We listened. Did you listen, John W. Henry? You listened to nobody, mate. It was clear for every man and their dog what was needed in this window. It was openly admitted. It was briefed to the media. The plan of action was put out there for all to see. Sell the fringe players on, get some contract renewals, and then bring in a forward and maybe a midfielder. Didn't happen. We are looking now, as I'm speaking, there are 2 hours and 41 minutes, 51 seconds left in this transfer window. And we're doing nothing. The media have been briefed that the AXA training facility will be quite closed, or will be closed tonight. There'll be fuck all going on there. While other clubs are still getting business done. Chelsea out there. Chelsea, European champions, with a ridiculous depth of quality, have gone out there and brought in Saul. What have we done? United, Manchester City, looked like they were going to try and come in and take Cristiano Ronaldo and bring him to the Etihad. Manchester United's board, as bad as they are, and they are fucking awful, they stood up and brought Ronaldo back to United to stop it happening after buying Jadon Sancho and Rafael Varane. Honestly, I'm baffled. I cannot find a way that this makes any sense other than they don't give a shit. What else we got? Sorry, I'm just reading through the comments here. Oh, this, mate. I would not at all. I said this to Connor. I even tweeted it. If you look at my Twitter account, I said the very same thing. I wouldn't at all be surprised for them to be scrambling around now, trying to get the contract renewal sorted with Mo Salah, maybe throwing extra money at him to try and pass it. It won't fucking work. You can announce Mohamed Salah on a 10-year contract tonight, and it's still not going to pacify us because he's already a Liverpool player, and that business should have been done. Mohamed Salah's contract should have already been renewed. He should have been given what he's entitled to, which is to be shown as and paid as one of the highest earning footballers in the world because he is one of the best footballers in the world. So the fact that that hasn't been done yet isn't bad enough. But if they try and pull this PR stunt on us again, I honestly believe that they've underestimated the fume. You know, we get the whole thing on Twitter where it's all top reds are the only ones that stick up for FSG and everybody else is an FSG out lunatic. No, most of the world lives somewhere in the middle. Most of us are big and grown up enough to understand that football clubs have to run within their means and that football clubs aren't just a rich man's plaything. But we generate enough money that we could have done it in this window. We've brought in enough sales to justify another 30 or 40 million quid midfielder or attacker. It's just that they don't give a fuck. Nothing from the club today. Nothing. They're just trying to sneak out the Henderson contract renewal and the last-minute Nat Phillips negotiation that they threw together and threw out there because they couldn't flog him. And they wanted to. Oh, they wanted to get that money in. Sorry, I've seen something on the screen there with the word Jota on it from Sky, and I had to look over, but it's got nothing to do with Air Jota, so it's all right. If Liverpool win the league this season, will I renege on my stance? No. I won't at all renege. My stance on what? I think you may be misinterpreting my stance here. If Liverpool win the league this season, it will be in spite of FSG, not because of FSG. If Liverpool win the league this season, it will be because of Jurgen Klopp's brilliance and the determination of an excellent group of players, and probably because we've had a little bit of luck along the way. You would need luck to win the league, and you'd need our squad to go through relatively unscathed with injuries to get through that season. But no, there is nothing that will change my opinion on the owners at this point. Nothing. I told you that. That was done and dusted when the Super League fiasco happened. There was no coming back for me from that. Now, I can be passive and I can sit by and I'm not going to go out of my way to slag them. But it's in times like this where clear, decisive leadership is needed and they're left wanting yet again. So, no, I won't renege. FSG employee Klopp. Yes, exactly. Your point being what? Are you trying to say that they deserve the credit for that? Yeah, they do. But he's the only manager in the world that could have done what he's been able to do, which is work with fuck all of a budget and still pull miracles out of his arse. But there's only so many times you can return to that well. There's only so many times you can go for that miracle. Jurgen Klopp can't be expected to keep pulling rabbits out of hats. Imagine, my counter argument would be, imagine what he could do if he was supported in the window. Imagine if he was able to bring in 2 or 3 players in this window. Imagine if he was able to do that every single summer, like he spoke about when he came in, refreshing with 1 or 2 new faces every single summer. So yeah, they brought in Jurgen Klopp, and they must be fucking wetting themselves that they have, because they've seen the value of the club increase dramatically since they brought Kloppo in. Right, some more comments to get through. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get through as many and make sure I don't miss, because I think I missed 1 or 2 super chats last night, and I feel awful when that happens because people spend their money. So let me just scroll through because I see a couple on the screen here now. Where is this one? That's from Jensk. Wouldn't be surprised if City signs a big player before the window, boys. Robert T said sell to buy FC, which is basically where we are, mate, which is why I keep saying to people who are pointing me towards next summer, I'm telling you what's going to happen next summer. We're going to flog off one of our forwards to part fund whatever business we do next summer. Have I already put the super chat up? Oh, okay. Adam, I can't pull this up on the screen, mate, because it's gone too far, but I will read it out. It's from Adam Kanu. Thank you very much, mate, from Australia. Said, you don't want to do it, but maybe some crazy protest is required. Look to what happened. Whoa, where did that one go? I think he's saying, look at what happened to the United game. There you go. Look at what happened to the Manx and the Glazers. They had an almost perfect window, and the Glazers are horrible, to say it. They are horrible, yeah. It's I'm heartbroken. Honestly, I'm heartbroken. I can't think of any other scenario where a club would come so close to catastrophe last season and not learn a lesson. Not learn a lesson about squad depth. Not learn a lesson about what it takes to compete week in and week out in the Premier League or to go and win the European Cup. Because let's be honest, we were knocked out of the European Cup last season by a very, very average Real Madrid team that we should have been beaten. That I said as soon as we went out to them that Chelsea would beat. And they did. And did it at a canter. And that's before Thomas Tuchel had really taken full hold and before they brought in Lukaku and improved even more so. So let's not kid ourselves about where we are. We may get into the top 4 this season. We may fight for the league title this season. We may go well and do well in Europe this season, but that will be in spite of John W. Henry and Tom Werner and FSG, not because of them, in spite of them. Look at what business have we done? Let me have I have a few bits and pieces on my phone that I've been saving through to go. So again, Liverpool reporters since May in the media. This is what we've been. May, Redbird investment expected to cover all losses during the COVID pandemic period. June, COVID has impacted Liverpool's transfer plans. But hang on, didn't we just hear that they were going to be covered by the Redbird 536 million investment? That some of that was going to be used to cover these debts? Not in June. In June, it was going to impact their transfer plans. July, Liverpool want a midfielder and at least one forward. At least one forward. Later in July, Bowen is one of the forwards on Liverpool's attacking shortlist. Why was that? Well, that was because we couldn't move on the overseas players, and we had to look towards potential homegrown player to make sure that we could register them for the matchday squad. Keep moving on. July later, Liverpool need to sell to buy. Okay, sold Shaqiri, sold Grujic, sold Albioni, who, by the way, has scored 3 in 3. Looks like an absolute bargain for £6 million, but never got any time at Liverpool. We move on. August, Liverpool sells these players. Still need to sell players who are not homegrown to free up a spot. Later in August, we sell Shaqiri, as I just said. Then right towards the end of August, Liverpool don't want to forward. And then yesterday, Michael Edwards probably leaving. That has been the full circle of press bullshit that we've had to deal with. And that's not me having a go with the press. This is them getting briefed what the plans were for the club. So it's done a full 360 there from going into a window where we expect a midfielder and at least one forward to Gini Wijnaldum, a man who has played the most amount of minutes under Jurgen Klopp, I think maybe second to Firmino in the last 5 years, but in and around the same. He goes on a free, no replacement. We're supposed to believe that Harvey Elliott, an 18-year-old, will play all those games, or that it'll be mixed around midfield. Fine. I'll give you that one. We can tick that box off. We'll allow you the midfield excuse. That still doesn't change the situation up top. We've struggled to score last season. Outside of Mohamed Salah, the goals were few and far between from others. Mane didn't score enough. 16, I think. Firmino certainly didn't score enough. Jota hit the ground running. Jota, look, we've a great player in Diogo Jota, no argument. After that, where are the goals coming from? We don't score from midfield. Our fullbacks, our centre forwards, or centre-back, aren't exactly prolific when it comes to scoring headers. You know, Van Dijk can do damage in the opposition box for sure. For full-backs, get forward, but don't really score too often. Great with the assists, but it's usually an assist to Mohamed Salah. So where are these goals coming from? Where is the game changers? I can list... Let's try do it. Let's sit here now and try and list some players who we could have looked at this summer. Realistic options. Doku, Ouar, Rafinha would probably be a realistic attempt. Harvey Barnes, we could have probably tried to get before he signed a new contract. That's before we look at the likes of Camavinga, before we look at other midfielders like Gravenberch, before you look at Pedri, before you look towards Inter Milan to Barella. Because they said they weren't selling Lukaku, but when the right money came in, they moved him on. Then we had all the links to all the players as well. That you guy, Concalves, the guy from Porto. Or not Porto, Benfica. No, not Benfica, the other one. Sporting Lisbon. That was brought in to replace Bruno Fernandes. His name was dropped around. Neuhaus all summer's name was dropped around. Yves Bissouma's name was thrown around all summer. Not a sniff there. Saul Niguez, again, gone to Chelsea now on loan. I can keep naming players who we could have gotten for reasonable fees and could have made a difference to Liverpool Football Club. Barcelona on their knees financially, begging for people to come in and give them some money. Where does Mariba end up? At Leipzig. Pedri's still there. They can't give Coutinho away. They can't register some of their players because they haven't got enough money to be able to do so. And John W. Henry is just sitting wherever the fuck he's sitting at home now. Again, talking to Linda about wallpaper and probably fucking floral patterns. I don't know. But he's certainly not doing the best interest of Liverpool Football Club or its fan base. I'm going to go through more of your comments now, folks. 1 second. Again, this is your show. We are going to be here right until 11 p.m. tonight. Keep your comments coming in. I don't disagree with this. It's fairly straightforward, but I don't disagree with it. Again, don't disagree with it. Joke, joke, joke. Yes, even Harry Wilson would have done a job too. I mean, I disagree he was good enough, but I get where you're coming from. At least he was another fucking body. Oh, and this is before I even mentioned Takumi Minamino, by the way, who was another player who was on the bench that Jurgen Klopp didn't trust to bring on or didn't think could impact the game. And that's after he was shipped out on loan to Southampton last season. And another one that was probably available in this window if some money came in. So we've basically got to admit that our fringe players are either overpaid or not good enough for anybody else to be interested in. But at the same time, we're supposed to believe that they're good enough for Liverpool to go and win the Champions League with again, or to go and challenge the might of Chelsea or the moves Manchester United have done or Manchester City. We're supposed to believe this when at the same time knowing that nobody else will fucking buy them. Look, someone said, don't worry, we've got Harvey Elliott. And look, genuinely, delighted that Harvey Elliott's getting game time. Absolutely over the moon. The kid looks sensational. And look forward to hopefully a very, very, very long career for Harvey Elliott at Liverpool. Craig, you deserve way more subscribers, honestly. Again, dude, I'm someone that's grateful with what we have. I wake up every day and I get to come on here and I get to talk to you amazing guys and girls from around the world. And, if people subscribe, brilliant. I'm extremely content with what we have. And this is brilliant for me. But, I thank you for that one. But look, ladies and gentlemen, there is one thing you can do to help. It doesn't involve you sending in a super chat. It doesn't involve you putting your hand in your pocket. And that only takes a couple of moments. We have teamed up, as you can see from the top right-hand corner, with the Ultimate Fan Game. It is a brand new fantasy football game that incorporates the concept of FIFA pack openings into the experience. Once you sign up, you'll be given a free 10-card pack to put into your team, and you'll score points based on things such as goals, assists, shots on target, tackles won, and clean sheets. You'll also receive a free 3-pack player every Tuesday of the 38 Premier League game weeks. There's a £300,000, yep, you heard me right, £300,000 prize pot to be won over the course of the season. And best of all, there's prizes given out, cash prizes every single week. So it doesn't matter if you've missed the first few weeks, you're still able to get in there and win yourself some money. It's completely free. Yes, I'll say it again. The opportunity to win cash each week and to get part of that £300,000 prize pool is absolutely free for you to play and sign up with our link below. But you can also buy gold and silver packs to help improve your team. It's completely optional, and the most that they will allow you to spend in a month is £5. Now, this game week alone, there was over £8,500 in prizes to be won. Places down to 300th winning a cash prize. You must be 18 years or older to enter and a UK and Irish resident to sign up. Also, it's completely free and you may win yourself a few quid. So, how do I sign up? There is a link in the description below. Again, that'll bring you straight through. The link is really important for us because it lets them know that we sent you. And of course, it helps in our partnership moving forward. And hope you guys enjoy the game. We'll be doing some content on it throughout the season as well. So if you like FPL and you like your FIFA pack openings, then put them together. What do you get? Ultimate Fan Game. Brilliant. Thank you to the guys of the Ultimate Fan Game. And we look forward to a busy season ahead. But, we still are where we are, folks. Right, here we go. Another super chat to bring up. Luke said, we should be delighted about the Hendo news. Absolutely, fella. But FSG should have sorted the deal weeks ago. We clearly need better depth in the attacking area. And yeah, ... Mate, I personally, and I can only speak from my perspective here, I'm personally fucking disgusted that they did this to Jordan Henderson today. I find this insulting to the captain. I'm not speaking for everyone. This is me. Only my opinion. Today's transfer deadline day. The owners, the club know what we hoped was going to happen today. But we warned you yesterday what was probably going to happen today. Now, it wouldn't surprise any of us either if closer to the deadline we heard a little something around Mohamed Salah and a contract renewal. That could be the last attempt to try and pacify the fan base. But to do this to Jordan Henderson, when we know the deal was agreed, I seen Simon Jordan on TalkSport earlier on talking about, well, maybe it was only just gotten over the line. No, it's been public knowledge for a long time, 10 days or so. The Hendo had agreed a 3-year contract. Well, technically a 1-year extension to make it that he has 3 years left of the club with an option of another and a little pay increase. Well deserved for the captain. But to do this to him today just undermines him yet again. And again, what does it do? It tries to turn some of our fan base on each other. We're in the FSG or the FSCL camps, remember? We can't be anywhere in the middle. We're all in the middle, though, really. These two outlying camps that you speak about, these two really, really polarized opinions, most of us live in the center. But we still all have a lot of things in common with regards to how we view the owners of the club. And it's quite simply that we view them as not good enough. As you can see on the screen there now, Connor's put up Millwall working on a deal for Shea Ojo. So we'll see what happens there. Are you doing a watch-along for Haaland versus Holland? No, I will be tomorrow over on That's Football with Mark Goldbridge, and we'll be doing a joint watch-along of the Portugal-Ireland game. Obviously, from an Irish perspective, I'll be there to look at the Irish team. Mark will probably be on Ronaldo watch, and he is one goal away from beating is Ali Dia's record for international goals, which I think is like, was it 109 or something like that? Here's another super chat. In my crystal ball, I can see the future. Generational talent, but FSG say we aren't going for Jude. Our generational talent is Harvey Elliott. Look, Elliott's class, Jeff. I mean, every single one of us are right behind you in the belief of Harvey Elliott. But as I said, how are we supposed to believe anything that's being briefed about next summer when this summer we've already been flatly lied to? Again, I go back to the start of the summer when we were told midfielder and at least one forward. Transfer deadline day, no midfielder, no forward. That's not me. That's what's put out in the media. At least one forward and a midfielder. Transfer deadline day. We're sitting here looking at other clubs scrambling around, getting a few deals done. Spurs getting a bit of business done. Chelsea bringing in Sal Niguez. Maybe United, I don't know, still popping around trying to bring in the number 6. Chelsea, right up to the last minute, we're trying to bring in Jules Koundé as well from Sevilla. And we are one of the biggest, most historic clubs in the world, and we're being made to look like a fucking laughing stock. Yet again. I don't know what else to say. I will be joined by Jack Gill, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in about 20 minutes or so. So make sure you stay with us for that one. We'll get to see what Jack's opinion is of this transfer window. And again, if you have any questions about promising young talent and that coming through, Jack's the guy to put those questions to because he's very well versed in all of the academy systems at Liverpool and spends a lot of time watching them. FSG out, Craig. Look, I said it before, mate. Today is the first day I've ever posted those words on Twitter. Never before have I done it. I've shared my opinion on here, but I've always tried to be nuanced. I've always tried to give credit for the good that they've done and weigh up the negatives that they've done, but also be honest and say, Super League, bye-bye. That was it for me. Right, 1 second. So Liam said, Craig, I said last week in this chat, and I bet any money the club would announce Hendo on deadline day, and bam, what happens? Can I ask you guys a question in the chat? And thank you, Liam, for your comment, by the way, and you're right. I know that sometimes I think a little bit differently to other people. I accept that. But I want to know from you guys, do you think it is disrespectful that the Henderson deal was announced today? Or would you have done the same in the club's position? Do you think it's okay? Or do you think it's a bit disrespectful to Hendo? Genuine question. Love to know your thoughts on it. 2 hours, 20 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the window, folks. We bring in Mr. Crosby for his thoughts on the window if he's still there in the background. I know that he is, but I just got to get my earphones in so I can hear Connor. So 1 second. I know he's there on audio in the background. I can see him scrambling to put his earphones in. Let's get Mr. Crosby's thoughts on it. Are we there, Connor? 1 second, he said. 1 second. I can see him. So you can't see him. This is the magic. I can see him. Disrespectful and predictable. Disrespectful. It's disgusting. I'm glad it's not just me, by the way, because, you know, I often overreact. I'm well known for overreacting in life, not just in football. Disrespectful. Right, we've got Mr. Crosby on audio now. Connor, what is your endearing feeling at the end of this transfer window, my man?
Look, it's tricky because obviously getting the contract sorted is a big deal, but fucking hell. Surely one forward. It's not that much to ask. And like you've said so many times, it's not like we're begging for, like, obviously we'd like Mbappe and stuff, but like Malin could have got him. Doku's there. Even Jared Bowen could have been there. Like, just someone. We just needed 1 or 2 signings. Like, don't think that's too much to ask for, really.
I don't know what this stuck up his own ass comment is about. Sorry, I'm pulling up some comments on the screen here now, Connor, just relating to the situation with Jordan Henderson and the announcement of his contract renewal today. Now, obviously, you did a bit of Heronomics today with the One Football News video because that was announced while I was still fast asleep, and you edited the video in for that. But I asked the question to the chat, do you think that it's disrespectful that Jordan Henderson's contract deal or contract renewal was announced today? Do you think it's a bit disrespectful, or do you think it's to be expected?
I think it's a bit of a PR stunt, to be honest, because like we said, we heard this news probably at least 7 or 10 days ago. Like, there was no reason for it to be pushed back. It's like, right, we'll put this news out in the morning. Hopefully everyone will be happy with that. People will go, we have our captain signed up. We don't need signings. that was the hope. Obviously, that's not how it went. So, like you said, it's like you have people then replying to the post and stuff rather than celebrating the captain. We're here talking about why aren't we signing players, and we're kind of throwing digs at Henderson. Like not that we mean to throw digs at Henderson, but that's what's happening. That's the problem.
I'm pulling up comment after comment. I'm pulling up comment after comment on screen here now, and again, they're all saying the same thing. That there are a few, of course, that will be more pro the owners, and I will show them the respect that they deserve as well, because we're all fans and we all have different opinions. But again, it's Luke Almond. I think I'm glad to see this. Connor, I'll pull this comment up. He said, "None of us are overreacting." And you know me, better than most people in this chat, Connor. I tend to overreact on a lot of stuff in life, not just football. But when I see so many people, yourself included, feeling the same way, it kind of does let you know something stinks here with regard to the lack of business. I don't know if you sit out. We'll keep going though. FSG is tighter than the Ducks' arse, Craig. I've never tried to see quite how tight a Ducks' arse is, to be honest with you, mate. But I'll take your word for it. Oh, he's back in now.
I swear to God, the one time I come on stream, the first person to ring the doorbell in about 2 years comes. I swear to God.
What I was saying to the guys in the chat was that it's just unacceptable, mate, that we've left ourselves in this position in the window when we've seen what not recruiting backup can do last season and how fortunate we were to get away with it.
Or even if you look at it from the point of view of, like, you see Chelsea now after winning the Champions League, similar situation to us. Will be one if we weren't to win the league, and they go out and they get Lukaku and Saul, possibly Kunde. Like they're strengthening from a position of strength, which we'd never done. So like we've built up this club to this point just to watch it whittle off. Then what's the point?
It is nuts, isn't it? And again, I keep going back to the same phrase, Connor, that the owners put out there, which is under promise and over deliver, or something along those lines. I can't remember the exact wording, but basically, we'll keep quiet and we'll let our actions speak for themselves. Well, there's a comment in here, a super chat from Jeannie Houdini. I like that name, mate. That said, it's sad we're not winning the league or the Champions League or the FA Cup or the League Cup. Not enough quality or squad depth. Best we could hope for is top 4 FSG equals no ambition. I keep looking at my phone, Connor, and I keep going back to that image of all the media reports going from May right through until August. It is mad how it's gone full circle, isn't it? From, the briefing at the start of the window that, contract renewals were a priority, bring in at least one attacker and a midfielder. And at the end of the window, they've got all the money in by getting rid of some of the players, but they've not spent it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like we said, it's just, like, we've won not so many trophies, but we won 4 trophies, and since then we've basically brought in Thiago and Jota. That's basically, we had Minamino as well, but that was 7 million. And you see, like I said, Chelsea spending big, United spending big trying to get back up, City always spending big. Like I think we basically have broken even over the last 4 or 5 seasons, haven't we? If not, we even made a profit. Like you always say, where is the money? Like, how do we not have money?
Yeah, I can never, I understand we have a high wage bill because of the incentivized nature of our contracts, but surely that goes in hand with the more successful the club is on the pitch, the more the club also brings in revenue to cover those clauses, to cover those bonuses. So that baffles me for a start. Then there's how much we've paid out to agents, particularly when we've done very little business. And then there is, of course, the fact that what most of us, I think, believe deep down is that they are taking Jurgen Klopp and using his brilliance as an excuse or trying to hide behind it and hoping. Are we basically turning into Arsenal now, mate, under Arsene Wenger, where we're just going to be in and around the 4th place trophy every season, as we like to slag them off about? And look what happened there. Look what's happened to United and how much money has been thrown at them to try and get them back up to the top table.
I think that's probably a bit too far to go with it. It's like, obviously, we still finished 3rd last year without a lot of our main players who are coming back. And I know everyone hates that phrase, but the likes of Van Dijk coming back will be kind of like a new signing. I fucking hate that I'm even saying that. But I think people are underestimating how good we actually are as well. Yes, we needed a few backups and a few more, just a bit of a change in the squad, but No, I think we're not as far as saying we're going to be challenging for fourth. I'd still expect us to be first or second, but like I said, another one or two backups, and I really think we'll be pushing on.
I think that's fair. I think that's quite balanced. I'm aware that I can get carried up in emotion a lot of the time when I'm, especially on a live stream. You don't like to use the phrases like a new signing or whatever, but there is no denying that having Virgil van Dijk back and Joe Matip back will improve us. But we also, I suppose, may have to caveat that by saying, while we're perhaps back to the level that we once were at, our opposition or our top four or championship rivals have not only closed the gap, but maybe surpassed us in some places.
Yeah, like when you see when we won the league, what was it, by like 18, 19 points, something ridiculous anyway. And now we're looking at where everyone's on a level playing field again. Like we never done anything to maintain that gap. Obviously, City were going to come back. But now you have the likes of Chelsea and United who are up there now. Well, we should have been just head and shoulders clear of them.
Jamrock has put in the chat here, LFC projected by experts for up to £140 million loss. I spoke about this, mate, last night. Jamrock, I said that, that news has been put out there. And yes, it was probably through. The last set of accounts, I think, only covered the first 6 weeks of the impact of COVID. But, mate, my question will still be the same to Connor, to you, to everybody else is, nobody's denying that the club was impacted by COVID. But we've had two answers to this. One is that the Redbird acquisition or the Redbird investment would cover some of, if not most of, those losses. And secondly, why are we the only ones that seem to be impacted in the transfer market by the losses? All clubs will have suffered losses. Granted, some will have been impacted more than others, and I'm willing to sit here and give the benefit of the doubt on that. But surely we're not impacted so much that we can't do anything or can't go into the plus with regards to how much money we've spent rather than how much we've brought in. Again, we're finishing the window in profit. And can we say we're finishing the window in profit and have improved the squad overall, Connor? Do you feel that at the end of this window, we can look back and say we have a stronger squad at the end of it than we did at the start, which is what I've said is how I judge transfer windows the entire time?
I would say slightly. Obviously, Kanate is a good signing, and we lost Shaqiri, but then we're bringing in Elliott, who was already on the books, but obviously he's been brought into the squad this season. So I think a small increase, I'd say, not an awful lot. Like, again, if we throw in another attacker or possibly another midfielder, you're talking a big jump up. But yeah, nothing major. But like definitely not downgraded either, to be honest.
Jamrock said, we are not, we just didn't use debt to fix it. I suppose, mate, the only thing I can answer, and I don't want to have an argument in the chat, is that they sold 10% of their holdings of all of the clubs. The FSG sold Liverpool, they sold 10% of Red Sox, Fenway Racing, and all their other investments, all their other portfolio of clubs and media companies. And we were told flat out that some of that money would be used to cover losses during the pandemic. So if that's the case, and we're taking them at face value for what we were told, then we're kind of working from scratch, are we not? So again, why no investment? And I do like getting counter arguments, by the way, Connor. I do like that people, have different opinions and, are willing to put forward another debating point. I open and welcome these opinions, but they still seem to be contradicted by the information that we've been given by the owners.
Absolutely. And someone made a good point, actually, the fact that Genie left. I suppose with that, yes, we're losing a very reliable player in midfield. But then if you look at Kanate coming in, we're looking at hopefully never having to play Fabinho at centre-back anymore. So it's kind of a help there. I know that's a stretch, but at least we won't have to move one of our best midfielders out of midfield.
Yeah, my problem with midfield has always been that we're, again, one or two injuries away from a bit of a crisis there. So, with all due respect to Henderson, Thiago, they're not in the same ship, maybe, or the same boat as Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita, but we have injury-prone players because of maybe age and minutes in their legs more than anything else. So are we going to agree? I'm willing to agree we're okay in midfield if everybody else is willing to agree that Elliott can't then be used in the attacking argument. So if people want to say Elliott and Jones are midfielders, Yeah, I'm happy to say we can maybe share those minutes around between Elliott, Jones, and a few of the others if Keita stays fit. But it still doesn't solve the attacking situation. We're still, I would say, one injury away, but we may even have that injury already, away from having no depth from an attacking perspective. Because
That's the
like
thing.
Origi, no match day squad, Takumi Minamino, not brought off the bench. So who's there?
That's the thing, to drop off. Like, you can say, right, we have 4 top quality attackers. That sounds great. But then suddenly, yeah, one of them gets injured, one of them playing too many games, tired, have to rotate. Like I said, that drop off, like, from the likes of a Jota to a Minamino or an Origi, or that's pretty much it. Like, or Elliott is, again, he's been playing midfield, so he's not even in that discussion.
Jamrock has come back in again. Again, thank you, mate, for your input. Said, I'm annoyed by no signing, don't get me wrong. But as for midfield, at some point in time, I have to believe, Klopp, that we don't need more mids. And I suppose, Jamrock, mate, that's kind of what myself and Connor were just saying here. If we allow for the point that, right, Harvey Elliott is a midfielder and not a forward, and that Curtis Jones will get minutes, and Naby Keita or Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, even if one of the two of them can stay relatively injury-free throughout the season, okay, we'll box off the midfield and say we could probably deal with it there. We're all right. But we can't look at the attackers. We can't look at the drop-off or being one injury away from it. Like, no match day squad for Origi, Connor, tells us one or two things. Either one, they thought he was going to be sold and they didn't want to risk his legs. Or two, he just isn't good enough and that Jurgen Klopp doesn't believe he'll impact the team if he comes from the bench. Only one of those two things can be true.
It could be both. Could be doesn't fancy him and wants to get rid of him. But,
well, yeah, I suppose. Sorry, yes, I meant that I can't think of any other reasoning. I should say either than one of those two or both. Yes, you're right. It could have been a bit of both. I wasn't being that harsh, actually. It could be a bit of both, but
like it is. Pre-season, it was like that, wasn't it? Cade Gordon was playing instead of Origi in some of the pre-season games. Like if that doesn't tell you, nothing against Cade Gordon, obviously, but if Klopp was choosing to play a 16-year-old over Divock Origi, that kind of tells you a lot.
Atletico Madrid as well in talks to re-sign Griezmann from Barcelona on loan. Again, just showing what we've said all along in this window, that Barcelona are absolutely financially crippled. And I know we've looked into the wages, Connor, from one end to the other on Griezmann, and it ranges. I think it has gone up and down, but at one point he could be earning about 700-800 grand a week.
Stupid money. And like you've said multiple times, we could go in there and throw money at a Pedri or an Ansu Fati or whoever, and it sounds ridiculous, but like you said, they're absolutely on their knees looking for cash. You offer them 50 million, that's hard to turn down when they're that strapped. They're absolutely up shit creek with their finances. So, like, again, it sounds unrealistic, but it really isn't. Like, why weren't teams doing it? Maybe not even us, but why weren't other teams doing it?
Yeah, we're led to believe that FSG are strategists, that they're very good at, taking emotion out of decisions and looking at it from a factual perspective. There's no way that anybody can tell me that looking at what's going on at Barcelona right now and having the potential opportunities to go in there and, I won't say cherry pick, but at least put pressure on a club that has done us dirty, I think it's fair to say, over the last 10 years or so with some of the players they've come after, that this would have been a perfect opportunity for a bit of payback and maybe getting ourselves a bargain in the process.
Absolutely. Like, if it was us, if we were absolutely fucked financially, straight away, Barcelona, Bayern, Real Madrid, all these teams are coming straight in for our best players. So, like, why haven't we done that to them?
Again, true. I put this up on screen earlier, but I didn't read it out. So, jokes aside, do you think clubs have priced themselves out of the high end of the market next season, said Bradley Fricker? People always like to say I missed loads of super chats. I didn't, mate. I brought them all up on screen or commented on every single one of them because they show up at the top of my screen as well. On that one, if this is the window, Connor, where the whole world was impacted by COVID and nobody had a shilling to spend, but yeah, Messi's move, Ronaldo's move, we've seen a £180 million bid for Mbappe turned down, even though he can sign a pre-contract agreement with Madrid for free. We've seen 45 million a year thrown at Mbappe and he's turned it down. We have seen a £100 million move from Jack Grealish to Manchester City and numerous other great pieces of business, such as Camavinga being signed by Real Madrid. Why is it, again, I go back and I don't want to upset my mate Jamrock, who I do appreciate the counterpoints. I just don't understand why the fuck we're the only ones impacted and what we think we're going to achieve next summer. Do we think that every other club is suddenly going to realise, oh my God, we're now bankrupt and that they'll be all selling off all these assets next summer. Because I don't get why the next summer. What's so great about next summer? This was the summer where the bargains were there to be had, in my humble opinion.
It's always next summer with us, to be fair. And like, I always hear people saying, like, oh, why are we the only club affected? I think that's, again, it's too far. Like, when you see Inter Milan almost liquidated, like, at least we're not that bad. But yeah, still, we're in a position, we're winning trophies last few years, signing these massive Nike deals. Like, we have to have money. Like, it's just, there's no reason why we shouldn't. Yes, we're paying out incentives and contracts, but fuck me, there should be at least 50 million there, at least.
There you go. This is Mr. Rational in the background talking, by the way. You know, he's the Steve Bland of this. Him and Steve Bland are the rational ones. Me and Jack Gill, who, by the way, should be here momentarily. So, yeah, we'll be bringing Jack Gill on in a second. But before I let Connor go, and I do look to bring Jack Gill in a second, one, there's a super chat from Gareth, which I want to bring up and speak about. He said, Craig, do you believe that the fans will let FSG away with this, or we need to come together and get them out of our club, or we become Newcastle? This is a very nuanced point, mate, because I would agree that we need to let our unrest be known to FSG, but it's how we go about doing that, because none of us want to disrupt the manager or the playing staff. We want those guys to be able to concentrate on what they need to do. But I don't think there is any way, off the top of my head, that the fans can show their dissent without it maybe impacting. Look at what happened at Manchester United. Biggest game in world football, and they got it cancelled. Now, you can say what you like about that. You can say you agree with it. You can say you disagree with it. But look what they fucking did in the transfer window. I'm not saying it was only because of that, but they made their feelings be known. And that was after years of anti-Glazer protests, years of the green and gold scarves, years of fan anger over the lack of ambition from a football club. And even their owners after the Super League went and backed. It baffles me. But one thing where you don't have to use money, Connor, and one thing that you can play absolutely free is, of course, the Ultimate Fan game, which is a new fantasy football game that incorporates FIFA pack openings into the experience. Now, Crosby, you're far more of a FIFA player than I. You know, FIFA pack openings, to me, all I can equate that to is going and buying a pack of cards from the news agents, you know, the old football cards that you used to get. But it is great that we've teamed up with the guys at Ultimate Fan from the company, the Low Six company that many of you guys probably recognized before. This is a new part of their brand. And there's a £300,000 prize pot, Connor, to be won. And $8,500 alone was given out in prizes this week, with played places down to as low as 300th. And again, you've got to be 18 or over and live in the UK or Ireland to play. But how can people sign up, Connor?
They can click the link that I've just posted in the comments now. There's one in the description. There's one pinned to the top of the chat. It's everywhere, basically. Just click the link, download the game, free to play. If you don't like it, that's fair enough. Don't play it again. I think you will like it. Again, we wouldn't be pitching it if we didn't think it was actually a good app. Again, prizes to be won every week. It's not like fantasy football where it's a big season-long thing. You can join any week, just play for the week. Why not? Have a go at it. Again, 18 plus, Ireland, England. But yeah, have a go.
And again, you can spend some money on this if you want, but the beauty is the maximum that they will allow you to spend in a month is £5. So this isn't something where they're trying to get in here and fleece you, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, we wouldn't be pitching it to you right now. You can win money every single week on this throughout the 38 game weeks of the season. Don't be worried that you missed the first couple of weeks. Every single week, you're playing for a new set of financial prizes, and there's a prize pot of £300,000 in total. So again, our link just helps us out. Every time you guys use that link to sign up, you know, a fairy gets his wings and we get a few bob. But let's be honest about it. But it is entirely free to play, and you would be helping us out without any cost whatsoever. Connor, I'm going to let you go, mate. Yeah. We're going to be here all night, or we're going to be waiting for our friend again to come back in and buy the club.
Yeah, every time someone downloads the app, we'll add 5 minutes on to how long Craig will stream, all right?
Oh, yeah, that would be a nightmare for me, mate. I mean, hopefully people do. But look, I'm going to let you go because I have a few super chats I've missed, and I want to get ready for Jack coming in as well.
Cool. Right, talk soon.
See you soon, Connor. Thank you, mate. Connor's going to carry on doing things from behind the scenes, as always. Sending love and light to you and the Anfield Agenda family, said Liz. WFM, take an ad out in the Boston Globe to let FSG know. That could work. Interesting, Liz. I mean, Liz is from that side of the pond. Liz lives in the beautiful state of Florida. And again, lots of love, Liz, to you and your family. And thank you for your comment as always. I think there was another couple I missed here. Damien said FSG tighter than the cow's arse during flea season. First time I've heard that one. Do it on deadline day to shift focus from signings as they know how desperate we are for it to happen. I think is that in regards to that's either, I suppose, the Hendo contract or the one that we're all thinking they could still try and pull out of the bag to get some peace from the fans, which may be the Mohamed Salah situation. But, you know, we've heard nothing on that one as of yet. There was another one there I want to just say a quick hello to as well. Luke, thank you very much, Luke Woffenden, as well, for sending in a super chat, mate. You're very kind. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be here till 11 p.m, so keep coming with your comments. Again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video as well. Where we are right now is that Real Madrid have signed Camavinga from Rant. We know that Chelsea have agreed to deal with Atletico de Madrid to bring in Saul on loan. We know that there's still other clubs scrambling around to do business. I'm looking around here now. I'm checking my phone as well just to make sure that I've not... Oh, I have missed a few things. 1 second. Okay. All right. Even Paddy Power are bantering us now, folks. They're saying there's part of me that wants Liverpool to announce a 5-year contract with Divock Origi at 10.59 just to see the meltdown. That's where we are. We're at a point now where we're having the piss taken out of us by fucking betting accounts. Oh, I see Mr. Gill is coming in the background, so we will get Jack's opinion now. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you tweet Connor to let them know that Jack Gill's about to come live now. Right, 1 second, Jack. I'll get you in now. 1 second, mate. This may feel weird, Craig, but I think we are in a desperate need of a goal-scoring striker. At this point, I'm willing to take Callum Wilson because he guarantees 15 to 20 goals a season. I don't think that Newcastle would entertain any bids for Callum Wilson, mate. But look, there's a lot of forwards that I take at this moment in time. Right, Mr. Gill's in the background. Let me just swap up a couple of things and get Jack in. There we go. And I'm just going to swap around my background for 1 second, Jack. 1 sec, dude. Connor likes me to do things in a particular way or I get in trouble. There we go. Here he is, Mr. Gill. How are you, sir?
I'm great, mate. I'm just looking forward to that Divock Origi contract announcement as the transfer window slams to a close.
Well, the first thing I wanted to get your opinion on is the timing of the Jordan Henderson contract renewal announcement. Nobody is disappointed in the announcement of him signing a new deal. We're all on board that we love the captain and we're happy that he's here. But I find it personally disrespectful that they've done it today.
Yeah, well, we all knew it was coming, didn't we? There was suggestions yesterday that had been announced today. The Hendo contract's been done for a very long time. So I have no idea why they've... Well, actually, I do know why they waited till today. It's all for PR purposes, isn't it? They knew we weren't going to bring anyone in. They wanted to give Liverpool fans a boost. So they've done it. They've unleashed the news that Hendo has signed that new deal. Timing couldn't be worse. It takes the whole effect off the wonderful feeling of the new contract for our skipper, who at one point looked like he may be on his way out this window. And yeah, it is a bit disrespectful to a man who has done so good for this club and will continue to do so for the duration of his contract now. And you know, I do feel a little sorry for him because myself included today, with everything going on, it's just completely taken the effect off what is a memorable day for both Jordan Henderson and Liverpool Football Club.
It is. It's. I want to actually. There's a great. We don't get many comments in actually from Periscope, but we do stream live on Periscope as well. Here's what Jack and going to bring up on stream. Craig and Jack will add in. Do you see FSG selling in the future? I'm going to kind of elaborate on that a little bit, Jack. I want to ask you: is this a sign that they think that they can muddle their way through till Klopp's contract ends and then perhaps sell up?
Say that again, sorry, Craig.
Do we think that FSG are looking to sell in the near future, basically, was the comment that came in. And I added to that and said, do you think maybe they're trying to just, with these contract renewals and that, blag their way through to 2024 when Klopp's term is up?
Well, they've given no sign of that. But it wouldn't surprise me because, FSG have openly spoke about how they want to run Liverpool in a sustainable manner. They've openly spoke about how, they feel like the game that is football is becoming very much money orientated. And, John Henry explained in that video why he moved towards the Super League, because he wanted to make sure that he could still run Liverpool sustainably and still be this big powerhouse and not let money take over. However, I think that's the thing. I personally feel like they may sell us in the next couple of years, because I think they may get to a point where they feel that we will fall behind with the current investment they're giving us, and therefore they're better off at selling us now from a business perspective to get the most possible money that they can, and also to progress us as a football club and give us better owners. And over the last couple of years, we've had sizable offers. FSG have had sizable offers for the football club that they've turned down from people who I'm sure would still be very interested. The Chinese royal family, wasn't it, or something, put a bid in for us at one point, I believe, or were
Sheikh
interested.
Mansour's cousin or something at one point, or brother-in-law or somebody as
Something.
well.
And it wouldn't surprise me if he's sat in the background and would be interested if FSG did put us up for sale. So I don't think anything's imminent. I don't think there would particularly be anything on their mind, but I'm sure. Listen, we all know FSG are super businessmen. And they will know when the best time to sell Liverpool Football Club is.
Did you see that on the screen? Griezmann, here we go. He's back to Atleti. I want to just bring up this super chat because before it goes away, and I hate missing them, and I missed a few last night. Just needed a Sarr or a Rafinha, and we were good to go, but unfortunately not to be so. So frustrating. Now just hoping to fight all the way on all fronts to the very end, irrespective of trophies. Thoughts? I'll let you go with that one, Jack. What are your thoughts on, have you seen the image that I've been talking about, Jack, that goes through a timeline of the media reports, starting from what we were told in May, at least one forward and a midfielder, contract renewals, depending on outgoings, right through to the hypocrisy of where we are now, having done a lot of that. And this morning alone, James Pearce posted that Nat Phillips could still move out of the club today. And as is always the way, football moves quick. And Nat Phillips, we couldn't find the buyer. Now, James Pearce is unfortunately getting some abuse because the club have probably done him dirty as well. And all of a sudden, Nat Phillips, not only is he not going anywhere, but all of a sudden he signed a new 4-year deal. It's madness. Nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong, but it's fucking madness.
Yeah, it's baffled me, to be honest. The minute that Reece Williams was announced to be joining Swansea on loan...
Just watch your headphones, buddy. The mic is getting caught in your zip.
The minute Reece Williams was announced to be joining Swansea on loan, for me, it was obvious then that we wouldn't see Nat Phillips depart. But you still saw, top journalists go, "Oh, we're still listening to offers for Nat Phillips, this, that, and the other." And then, hours later, this new contract's done, and he's going to be our 5th choice centre back. It's bizarre.
And by the way, we're always told that contracts take a long time to negotiate.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
Well,
so either two things happened. Either they had it in the background on the back burner, and it was like, well, now, if we can't get rid of you, how would you feel about this?
But they sat on the Hendo one. The Hendo one's been done for a couple of weeks, and they announced it today. And people that, you get your people who, refuse to criticise FSG for anything, that, they say that it wasn't for PR reasons. Of course it was. But yeah, I don't understand it personally. I knew both wouldn't go. As soon as Reece Williams went, I knew Nat Phillips wouldn't go. I love Nat Phillips, so fair play. I'm happy sticking around, to be honest with you. But are we going to regret it in the future? Excuse me. Is his value going to decrease? Probably.
I'm sound on the Nat Phillips thing, by the way. I mean, having a 5th choice centre back at the club, it was going to be him or Reece Williams. They decided Reece Williams goes on loan after signing a new deal as well, because heaven forbid he didn't get a new deal. Everybody needs new deals. New deal. Oprah, full on Oprah here today. You're just taunting me with that Pepsi Max, aren't you, you son of a bitch? Just taunted me with that kind of Pepsi Max.
Can't help it, Craig. You know me and my Pepsi Max.
You're a bit of a Pepsi Max addict. Now, let me just say to you, Jack, have you heard about Ultimate Fan? Have you been playing? If you haven't, get yourself and download the app, mate. Ultimate Fan giving away 300 grand in prizes this week alone, 8.5 grand. With our link in the description, you sign up. It's basically fantasy football crossed with FIFA pack opening experience. There you go, a little bit of something for everybody, mate. From the people that brought you low six.
Yeah,
completely free as well.
I do actually have an Ultimate Fan. My team's absolutely rubbish. I think it's full of Arsenal players. We've got Lacazette, Elneny, and Xhaka. But yeah, it's worth it. You know, I downloaded it at the start of the season. I'm not very good at keeping up with these things. It's only this season where I've finally got into FPL and I've started taking that seriously. But yeah, I'd definitely download Ultimate Fan if I was you, because it's really cool. I really like how they do the packs every 3 days as well, Craig. How you can open a pack every 3 days, refresh your players, you know, create your own little five-a-side team. It looks dead fun.
Yeah, and what got me about it was I always thought, hang on, you say it's free, but there's usually, you know, you can buy, and they do allow you to buy gold and silver packs, but a maximum spend of £5 a month. So this isn't something where they're looking to, this isn't like a bookies where they're looking to take people a load of money from people. They're just genuinely trying to generate a lot of users, I suppose, and again, for a very fun experience. And if you like your FPL, if you like your FIFA pack openings, combine them in, use our link below, and Jack will get a haircut if we get 1,000 new signups, don't you, Jack? You go bald like me. You go bald like me.
I'll definitely go bald. Give it 1,000. Get 50k views on this, and I'll go bald again.
There you go. And he's not just talking about his nuts, ladies and gentlemen. Right, Philip is in. Philip Hunt. We're literally playing with fire. I'm glad Nat is staying, but I don't. Klopp complain. I don't want Klopp complaining about injuries this season. We ain't winning anything. Angry. This is the dilemma, Jack, and this is where I think maybe FSG have us all by the nuts a little bit, because they know we love Jurgen. They know we believe and back the players. They know that we know that the core group is good enough, but I think that they're banking on not much of a backlash. Now, you've got your finger on the pulse of all things in and around the city of Liverpool, as well as, of course, the club. What do you think the backlash is going to be like from this transfer window? Because I think they've underestimated it massively, mate.
Well, it depends, Craig, because I think the feeling right now is a feeling of, you know, disappointment, a lot of anger as well. You know, a missed opportunity, I think, is the main one, because, you know, we're only a couple of signings away from being very, very, very strong. Nobody doubts how strong, you know, this current Liverpool side is. We just want a bit more depth in certain areas. You know, we lost Gini Wijnaldum. A midfielder would have been nice. We know that we've got young Harvey Elliott coming through, but we also respect the fact that this kid is 18 years old and we don't want to put too much pressure on this guy's shoulder. You know, we were told that we'd probably bring a forward player in because last season there was a period where we struggled for goals.
Do you agree with Sunil, who believed we didn't answer his previous question? We did, but I'll go again. Just need a Sarah Rafinha away. We're good to go, unfortunately, not to be. It's frustrating. Now we just need to fight all the way in all fronts till the very end, irrespective of trophies. Thoughts? I mean, my thoughts would be, Sunil, that Liverpool Football Club may exist to win trophies, and fighting for the best of the rest, to me, isn't good enough. And one of those players you've mentioned, or any other signing, could have been eminently gettable in this window.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and you know, like I was saying, I think we all appreciate the fact that, you know, last season there was a period where we were struggling for goals. We lost a lot of points against sides in the lower half of the table because, you know, we were struggling to break them down, and, you know, we had lacked additional forward options from the bench to, you know, really change the game, and we've not strengthened in that area. We've not strengthened in that department at all. And especially when you look at, you know, what happened last season with our centre-back issues, you know, all we've done this window is replace Dejan Lovren, which we should have done last summer. We didn't. And then we paid the price for it last season and had a centre-back injury crisis, didn't we? And you know, Nat Phillips, who signed a new contract today, who looked like he was going to leave, was one of the reasons that we've managed to get Champions League football. And, you know, for me, I think it's very difficult because we have a lot of belief in Jurgen Klopp. We have a lot of belief that our 11 is very, very strong. We have one of the best teams in Europe, you know, but If there are injuries, then that's where we're going to struggle because we lack depth. And it really is a missed opportunity, Craig. It really is. And if we get injuries throughout the season, we will point to FSG and say, look, we told you so. And, with last season, the Liverpool fans' fear is absolutely justified because, we were top at Christmas last year. We were flying. We were on to win,
Mate, I was giving a Billy Big Bollocks everywhere in December. I was baiting Goldbridge every 2 minutes. I was strutting around on stream. So you see the 6-1 clip when United lost to Spurs. I was full of it. Like
we were on to win back-to-back titles, and then all of a sudden, boom, we weren't prepared. Injury crisis. We have to panic. In the January transfer window, we bring in Kabak, we bring in Ben Davis, who was a ghost, and we ended up in the situation we were in, and we lost the title because of it, because we weren't prepared enough. And I said on the stream the other day, Liverpool Football Club a lot of the time are far too reactive, and this was a window where we had the perfect opportunity to be proactive, get ahead of ourselves, put pressure on City and Chelsea. Chelsea won the European Cup last year. They've strengthened massively. They brought in Saul on loan today. I have no doubt that we were offered Saul on loan. We lost Wijnaldum. Why didn't we do it? It makes no sense to me, Craig.
Do you think a lot of people point to the fact, Jack, that Jurgen Klopp has been very vocal about saying that we don't have... No, not that we don't, that there isn't the player with the attributes needed to come in and, he's only really spoken about midfield on this, interestingly enough, so I don't know how he feels from the attacking perspective. But I'm willing to give the owners and Kloppo the benefit of the doubt on midfield if we agree that Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones are midfielders and that they, along with hopefully one of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita, can make up the 50 games or so we're losing from Gini. I'm willing to give that and acknowledge that point, but I still want to know what the fuck is the story with our attacking options, because we don't know what's going on with Bobby. We've heard the rumours.
And that's the thing, Craig, and that's another thing. So we hear the rumours yesterday about Bobby, and then you get that statement today. I think it was Paul Joyce who put it out saying that Bobby's injury is supposedly not as bad as first feared, but he will undergo more scans to see the true extent of the injury. Now, that's not telling us how serious the injury is. That seems to me like just to cover it because we're not planning on signing a forward player today. And they know if they say, oh, Bobby's out for a couple of months, and then we don't go and sign anyone, then there's going to be a huge backlash. We saw the same, last transfer window with Joel Matip when he had the long-term injury and we didn't hear the extent of it till the window had slammed shut.
That's what we're going to hear. We know that. There's no accident that that's not coming out now.
Listen, the thing is, I'm trying so hard to be positive about this season because I genuinely do have a really strong feeling about the aura of this squad. I like the fact that we're being written off by most pundits. I like that a lot. But it's hard because I saw last season, we were flying at Christmas and then boom, few injuries. We see that there's a lack of depth in the squad. We can't compete with Chelsea and City when it comes to that because their depth is incredible.
We lost to a bang average Real Madrid team in the Champions League. A fucking bang average Madrid team.
And by the way, Real Madrid, who were skint, and it was their idea, Florentino Perez started the Super League because they're skint. They've bid 220 million euros today for a player who's out of contract next summer. And we're sat here on our hands doing absolutely jack shit. I don't get it, Craig. It makes no sense to me at all.
Here's a comment that I will defend Kloppo and the club on. He said, if Canade was brought in to be a bit part player, should have just bought Ozan for 8 million and put the money towards a centre or a decent backup attacking option. My point on this, and I'm sure Jack will probably agree, is that Canade is just... We had 3 games before an international break. He came in and Klopp just probably doesn't want to risk him just yet. And Matip and Van Dijk have been excellent as well, by the way. So no need to look at the intention of dropping him. But, and he's still young as well.
People need to remember what Klopp likes to do when we sign a new player. He doesn't like to throw them in the deep end straight away. Look at Andy Robertson when he first signed. He didn't play the first few Premier League games. He carried on playing Moreno, and then when Robbo was ready, he started giving him more game time. I have no doubt that probably Konate will start in the Cup against Norwich. We'll see how he plays then. He'll get a bit of minutes here and there. Don't forget, Matip had a long-term injury last season. So did Virgil van Dijk. Their game time is going to have to be managed very carefully. And though you want to keep your centre-back pairing strong throughout the season and not too many changes, we're going to have to be careful and we're going to have to manage them this season because they had long-term injuries last season. So we will have to keep chopping and changing, and Klopp will make sure that he slowly embeds Konate into the English game, because the Premier League is the best league in the world. It's the most competitive league in the world. It's very difficult to adjust, and Klopp will give Konate all the time in the world to make sure he adjusts perfectly.
Here's one, a bit of a hypothetical, but I like to look at both sides of this conversation. What would you say if we win the league and not brought players in? So I guess that's in relation to what we say, towards Klopp and the owners. And my answer would be that we will have won the league because we've probably been lucky with injuries throughout the season. We already know we've got a damn fine group of players and a great manager who we're all very proud of, and that none of us have any doubts about the people that are here and that are playing week in and week out. But I think we will have won it in spite of the owners. And my question would be, what else could we have won if we perhaps had the squad depth to go a little bit further? So I don't know. This is what annoys me, Jack. It seems to be, and I'm not having a dig at you, Kevin. Sorry, just this is a random thought. It seems to be that some people, there's only two boxes. Your FSG in and you love them to bits, or your FSG out and you want everything to do with them gone and erased from the history of the club. We all live in the middle, mate. Most of us live in the middle.
It's cool. It's called being level-headed. It's like this whole social media thing of being a top red or a bottom red. It's ridiculous, Craig. It's absolutely pathetic. I can't stand it. There is no doubt in my mind that most Liverpool fans understand that this is a strong squad, but we want more depth so that we can go on and win trophies, which is where this football club should be, and we know that we can do under Jurgen Klopp. And it's so frustrating because we saw us be built back up perfectly by FSG and Jurgen Klopp that summer transfer window, where we did invest because we got the Coutinho money, and then the season after we went on to win the league deservedly. For me, it's completely understandable to be like this. And if Liverpool went on to win the league this year, I wouldn't be surprised, because I think we have a very, very strong side. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But as I've said numerous times, and I know you agree, Craig, and I know a lot of people in the comments agree, it's not this year that I'm worried about because of this transfer window. It's years to come. It's because we've not been proactive enough. I have no doubt that this squad now is strong, and signing the players that we've got now down to new contracts is brilliant news for the short term. But I want long-term stuff. I want to plan for the future. I want to make sure we get in a Doku to compete for the front three now, and then we're sorted for Doku. Will be a great player in 3, 4, 5 years' time. He'll be years' time. He'll be absolutely world class. So get it done now. Get him playing with Mane and Salah. Get them nurturing.
Imagine that though for the next generation, Jack. Like you're talking about, you bring in Doku now. He's acclimatized in 2 years' time. And by the way, Philip, I will come to your question in 1 sec, mate, so I'm leaving it on the screen. So we bring in Doku now, and even if he only plays 20 games, throughout the course of the season, think of the future. You have Elliot, Musialowski, Bobby Clark, other great youngsters coming through behind them that will help merge the gap between the older players and the younger players. So I think where we're missing now is that middle, that 20 to 25-year-old bracket, which, that's why Jota was a perfect signing for me. He fell right into the right age bracket. And Philip said, do you think we'll look back at the Klopp era with regret? I've said this for a long time, mate. Unfortunately, I think it's yes. And that is a disgusting thing to have to say, because it won't be a regret of him or of what he's done or what it's a regret of what might have been.
Yeah. I think that's a very, very good question, by the way, because I personally, I don't think the first thing I think of when I look back on the Klopp era is regret, because, he's given me so many incredible moments as a Liverpool fan, and we've got so much to celebrate and remember about this Klopp era. But will there be some regret in my mind? Probably, yeah, because I know what this man deserves. I know what he can achieve with more, investment in the squad, and I think it's what he deserves. He earned the investment with how good he is as a coach. He's proven time and time again what he can do for this football club. He's proven that he can win us trophies on a budget, and he can compete with Pep Guardiola, who many put up there as one of the best managers of all time. And Klopp's shown that he's up there with him as one of the best coaches in the world. And You know, our investment is absolutely miles behind them, and it's incredibly frustrating. It really is. But you know, when it comes to looking back on the Klopp era, I don't think any Liverpool fan will think of regret as one of the first things on their mind, because we've just got so many amazing things to remember with Jurgen.
Yeah, I look at it and I'll think I'll go hand in hand between Klopp and Hendo. I'll remember them both together. I remember what he achieved as a captain and what Klopp did for us. But I will look back at it and think, have we wasted the time he was here? Could we have done more? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. Now, here's a question for Liam. Said Craig and Jack, question for both. 5 million for Salah loan. Why aren't we all over that? But he's off to Chelsea. Why have you let this happen? Now, the only thing I know about the Salah situation, Jack, is that the wages were quite hefty that he was asking for. Outside of that, and he'd signed a really long deal. I think it was a 9-year deal or something mad like that he had signed at Atletico 4 or 5 years back, or 3 or 4 years back. And again, Chelsea, who have Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho, are out there bringing in Saul Niguez on loan for 5 million fee. Again, a player who we've been linked with.
And that's what I mean. And you see people going, you know, like, oh, you're not going to pay 40, 50 million pounds for a player to sit on the bench. Well, we're quite happy keeping Ox around. We paid 40 million for him. He's not a starter, you know, and to improve on players like that, you have to go and get a Saul. Like we're saying, we're competing in a league with your Chelseas, your Man Uniteds, your Man Cities. You know that we've seen the Glazers have cracked under pressure this summer. You know, there were the riots at the end of last season, and look what they've done this summer. They're willing to compete this season. You've seen that Chelsea and Abramovich is going to throw the club at, throw the money at that club and help, you know, always keep them at the top. You know about City and Sheikh Mansour and all their oil money. So yeah, this is what we're competing with, whether we like it or not. That's where football has gone, and you know. We're not asking for City level monies or Chelsea level money, or us to spend 480 grand a week on a 36-year-old Ronaldo like United are doing. We're just asking for improvements on the squad. We're not asking for much at all. But here we are again, sat here, just like we were in the window where we bought in Sepp van der Berg, you know, after we won the Champions League, with very little investment. And it's incredibly frustrating, because we know that this squad and Jurgen Klopp deserves more. We really do. We deserve to be pushing for the title this year. And if we're let down and if we don't go and push for the title, it's for one reason, and it's because we didn't strengthen in this transfer market when we had so many options to.
I want to bring this comment back up because I got to have my say on it, but I wanted to see how Jack felt about it. Craig, what you said earlier about Chelsea's second half was spot on. That's an analogy for the whole season. Nobody who can really change a game from the bench. If it doesn't work from the off, we struggle. And I'll go a bit further with that, Jack. My point was, we came up against Chelsea. We had to use our only real attacking option at the end of the first half when Bobby picked up an injury. So Bobby went off, Jota came on, grand. Nobody's on the issues there. You know, good swap, straight, like for like, happy days. Second half comes around. Thomas Tuchel at halftime brings on Thiago Silva, and they reset themselves up into a compact back eight with a goalkeeper, and then Lukaku wandering around. On top of that, what did we do? We dawdled, and then we brought Thiago Alcantara on, who can change a game. Of course, we've seen him have an impact against a 10-man Chelsea before. But the real one for me, Jack, and the real killers on this was, one, when Robbo was knackered, we had no attacker to bring on, so we ended up bringing Tsimikas on and hoping for the width from there. But most importantly, Origi, who we're supposed to believe is good enough, wasn't even in the matchday squad, which lends me to believe that the club are basically trying to urge him towards getting out the door. And also, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Takumi Minamino, and Naby Keita weren't given a fucking sniff when we needed them. And we're still supposed to believe that they can solve these problems against a low block or against teams that are sitting and defending deep. If it didn't happen that day, in a huge game, only 3 games into the season, when we're all pretty much fit and firing to go, what's it going to be like when we're playing 2-3 games a week?
Craig, we both said it after the Chelsea game, didn't we? And it's quite simple. What let us down last season? Because it wasn't the centre-back problem. You know, that was a dampener on the season, and we did have trouble with it throughout the whole season. But what let us down was that period over Christmas when we dropped too many points at home because we couldn't put the ball in the back of their net. When things weren't going right for Liverpool and we couldn't break down the low block and we had no options from the bench. And all we've done this summer is sell Shaqiri, who was one of them options, from the bench. You know, we brought in Konate as well, obviously, to sort out the defensive problems. But in terms of what stopped us from winning the title last season, it was that period. It was that struggling to put the ball in the back of the net at Anfield. And we haven't strengthened in that department. You know, yes, we've got Harvey Elliott now. He's 18 years old. He's not
West
going to
Ham
be the
have
difference.
signed Vlasic, by the way. They've confirmed that from CSK in Moscow. That was done as well.
And their window, credit West Ham, because, you know, before they brought Moyes in, it looked like West Ham were going only one way, didn't it? It looked like they were heading down to the Championship. The club was a mess, loads of issues with their owners. They've got Moyes in, and since then, they've become incredibly effective. They're really good in the transfer market. Their owners are backing them. What more can you ask for?
Jack, how can we not have been in for Camavinga? Or how can we at least not made a play for him? I mean, granted, I understand that some players will tend to want to go towards Real Madrid. But I kind of got the feeling with Madrid that was we know PSG wants Camavinga. He's also a really good player. PSG are being dicks to us about the Mbappe stuff. So you know what? We're going to take Mbappe off you in January, and we're also going to sign this dude now because we can.
I've seen something like this today. I can't remember what page it was on Twitter, but someone said that.
And Sabitzer to Bayern as well. 12 million was done.
So someone said that in the someone from the Liverpool transfer committee has said that you know, we weren't willing to buy a midfielder unless we knew that they would go into the starting lineup ahead of the midfield options we already have. But you know, that's all well and good saying, but I think it's important to know that actually we as Liverpool fans are well aware that it's very hard to strengthen our first 11 when everyone's fit. It's almost impossible. But what we know is throughout the season, when Jurgen Klopp is very open and honest about the fact that footballers play too much football, we understand, you know, that Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp like this heavy metal football. We like gegenpressing. Jurgen Klopp likes the high press, and therefore we're more likely to get more injuries. So, you know, what we need is more depth. We need to improve on our second options, our third options, our fourth options, our fifth options. So, you know, I don't buy that excuse for me. And when you see players, when you see a window like this where every fucker and his dog seems to be available, Craig, and we only sign one player, it just seems very questionable. Like, I do not understand it at all. And yeah, like I said, it's important to remain confident because we've still got an amazing squad. But what I take away from
that's where they have us, mate. That's what fucking annoying to me. They know that.
Yeah.
That this is why they have us. They know we won't turn on the staff, the playing staff, and the manager because they're the only good we have left.
And that's the thing, because you know, we have to be positive because what we see, you know, we've got 7 points from our first 3 games. We've played really well. We've only conceded 1 goal. You know, we were very unlucky not to have a 100% record. We probably deserved the 3 points against Chelsea. I'd go as far as saying we definitely deserved them. So, you know, there's a lot to be positive about. But also,
look at these names on screen now, and these are realistic names, by the way, that Liverpool could have done in this window. Saul going to Chelsea on loan. Basuma still sitting at Brighton. Tielemans about to or has signed a new contract at Leicester. Malen, Dortmund. Doku still sitting at Ron. Sarr still at Watford. Adama Traore trying to get a move sorted out with George Mendes to Spurs for about 25-30 million. All of those extremely gettable players, and you cannot tell me that at least one of those wouldn't have made a difference in the attacking part in particular, with the likes of I never thought we'd go for Sarr, to be honest, because of the reasoning behind why we didn't get him in the first place. But let's say Doku was an example there, or who else was mentioned in the gentleman's comment? I can't remember the other name that was mentioned, but every single one of them was. And then PSG signing on Mendes as well today, by the way, just on the back of Messi and Hakimi and Gini Wijnaldum and Donnarumma. And it's... I don't know what to say, man. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating, especially when Basuma stayed put. I don't understand how nobody's not snapped that guy up. I think he's a very, very good footballer. He's Basuma. You know, you saw him, I think, in Brighton's first 3 games. He's been absolutely incredible this season. And, you know, there's absolutely no chance that he stays at Brighton longer than this season, in my opinion. That's no
Don't agree with
disrespect to
this.
Brighton.
Hendo extension is not smart. His current deal was good. Now, see, that I get. I get the fact that
Craig,
Hendo had 2 years
Craig,
left on his deal.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can you just see that guy in the comments that's spamming? Can we ban him?
I think he is banned.
I
know the guy you're talking about, but
yeah.
Sorry, I thought the mods would have sorted that, but he's gone now.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't even talk about it, but you're right, Jack. Sorry, carry on. I love that, but good looking out, buddy. Good looking out.
But yeah, it's I think with the Henderson thing, I was worried this summer that we were going to lose our captain on top of potentially having a quiet window. And, you know, the relief that I felt 2 weeks ago, knowing that actually he was going to stay was huge. And the fact that we've waited 2 weeks to get this announcement, and then all of a sudden we hear it this morning on transfer deadline day, I think it's a disgrace, to be honest with you. I think the PR behind that is ridiculous. And the fact they're scapegoating by using our skipper on a day when, you know, they probably know that we should.
Spurs have gone to Barca, by the way, for Emerson Royal, 21.5 million on a contract till 2026. We haven't even got to that point, mate, where we didn't even look at Barca's talent and try and cherry pick. Griezmann back to Atleti. Not that we wanted him, but just showed how desperate they were on the last day. Emerson Royal, 21.5 million to Spurs. Again, we've done nothing. We just sat there and twiddled our toes.
Again, I think Spurs have invested, but I think they've invested again in the wrong areas, as we see quite often from Spurs. They've now got 4 right backs in their ranks, and you know, part of me is I've been very open before, Craig, about, you know, my feelings on FSG and the fact that they anger me, but I do like how we're sustainably run, and I do like how we're not a City and we're not a Chelsea. But at the same time, windows like this really annoy me because it's, you know, we're up there. We are up there with clubs that spend money in a ridiculous way. You know, if you say tomorrow that we play PSG and we've got a fully fit squad, everyone's fit in the squad, I think we go toe to toe with them. I really, really do. You know, we might lose, but we give them a very, very, very good game. So, you know, investment and making sure we've got more depth, we've got more options from the bench, we've got a bigger squad, because Jurgen Klopp says all the time, you know, about the games in English football, how many games we have to play. Give him the money to strengthen the squad so we have more options so that we can compete in every competition and definitely win silverware. And then, you know, we'll be able to invest more and more and more because we'll be earning more. It's really that simple. And, you know, this was a perfect opportunity. We saw last summer what can happen if you don't invest, if you don't get depth in the right areas. And I don't understand why we've come into this window and we've thought that only signing Konate is acceptable. I really don't.
It isn't acceptable, mate. You're right. But I suppose my question comes in, what happens now? What happens when the transfer window's closed? We hear the Bobby Firmino news, whatever that news might be. I don't want to speculate on it because I genuinely don't know. But we can probably say he'll miss a little bit of time, a little bit, best case scenario. But we have an injury right now in the attacking department. But the extent of it, we won't know, of course, until the scans come back. But me and you, we've been around long enough, mate, in this, you know, industry to know that they know the results. I think we both know they know the results of Firmino's scan and that it's not being put out today for a good reason. Yeah,
it doesn't take this long to find out scan results. You know, these footballers don't get their scans through the NHS where you have to wait months to find out. They get them done through, you know, people who work for the club, and we've seen with injuries before that they happen quite quickly. And, you know, whether it's because it's over an international break that it may be a bit slower, but they definitely know by now, you know. And yeah, it's very frustrating. And you know, it's important to remember that these Firmino things are rumours. We do not know for sure that he's out for months, but the fact that it wouldn't surprise us is a problem in itself, because the fact that we think our owners would do that to us shows that, you know, our confidence in them has been abused before in the past, and it has done with the Super League, with the trademarking of the word Liverpool, with the furloughing of staff. It has done in the past. So
77 quid tickets.
Yep, and it just shows for me, that the confidence in FSG is running low, and it's a real shame, because you can't forget everything they've done building our football club back up. From where we were under Hicks and Gillette to winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues again, but in the last couple of years they've been caught slacking, and even the news with potentially losing Michael Edwards next summer. The fact that this may be Edwards' last summer, who we all as Liverpool fans, we want a statue of that man. He's done some incredible deals for this football club. And the fact that we have wasted potentially his last summer transfer window at this football club, for me, is unacceptable.
You know what hurts me the most is that this leads to a situation where the fans end up turning on each other. And the fans end up around.
It's already happened. It's already happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It will only increase now, because we've always had the issue around tickets. We've always had that battle between the demand for tickets far outweighing. So what happens then is people end up either paying touts or going through hospitality, and that means that the club go, oh look, we can sell more hospitality packages and blah blah blah. So we've already had that row, and it's an ongoing thing that is done because they want to keep the sweet spot that we keep hearing about. Now we've got the FSG and FSCO, the two polarized camps there. And on top of this, now we're all going to have just get behind the players, and, transfer window said, and look, at 11 o'clock tonight, all we can do is really get behind the manager and the player. But it doesn't mean that we can't be proactive in wanting to better from our owners, just like after the Super League. Remember, I played that video today again on my account on Twitter, where John W. Henry said, we listened to you. We listened. Well, surely he hasn't listened. So where is the investment? Where is the look? Look, again, another deal, Jack, that's just come in. Lookman to Leicester on loan from Leipzig.
Do you know what as well, Craig? Callum Hudson-Odoi. We should be all over that. He's a guy that isn't getting much game time at Chelsea at all. He would get more game time at us, that's for sure, because there's less competition. And he's an incredible footballer. And under Jurgen Klopp, he would get even better. And yes, we'd have paid over the odds because he's at Chelsea, but he's still very young, and there's no doubt in his ability and no doubt in where Jurgen Klopp could take him. So, why weren't we inquiring about him? He's so talented. And, imagine getting someone like him from a rival like Chelsea. It would have been a brilliant power play move from us. So I don't understand that. I don't understand at all. The lack of movement for me is bizarre. We're being told that there's not much out there. And for me, Craig, and this is my personal opinion, it feels like every time we stand up for ourselves against FSG, when they make a bad decision and we do get an apology out of them, it's like we get punished with something like this. It's like they do this, and then it's like, well, we told you that, we needed something like that. So we pulled out of that, but now look, we can't sign anyone. We thought the same was going to happen after the furlough thing last summer, when it seemed to be a quiet summer then. And then, we did manage to get the Thiago and Jota deals done. And yes, they did it in a clever way. And at the time, we all praised the football club for doing it in that way, where, we split the payments over 4 years. I think it was with the Jota one in particular, where we paid 25% of that this summer. And that's how you do it. You adjust to suit the times. And if we are struggling at the minute, which I don't for a second believe, by the way, because we're not the only club that's been affected by COVID. So, there are payment plans. There are ways to go about doing it. So, yeah, it really shocked me, Craig, this window. It really, really does. But I think it's important for me also to say in this stream that I am still very positive for this season. I am. And I'm still very confident. I'm still very much getting behind the players. I'm still very much backing Jurgen Klopp because he is an absolute miracle worker. And I still believe, I saw a comment earlier saying we'd be lucky to finish top 4. Absolutely no chance. I'm so confident we'll finish top 4. I still think we'll be up there challenging for the title. It just worries me that if we have injuries, we don't have the depth to compete with Chelsea, Man City and Manchester United, who do have the depth. because we don't.
There's a comment here that there's a fair comment, but I just want to kind of get a perspective on it. So 8 Frank said Klopp has to utilise Minamino and Origi. Now, again, factually, it's probably correct, but how? We've basically told them they're not good enough already by, in Origi's case, having them openly available for sale, and in Minamino's case, loaning them to Southampton and then not really playing them this season so far, or bringing them off the bench against Chelsea when we needed the defence to be unlocked. So I don't know how we integrate them.
How do you utilise people that aren't good enough? You know, Minamino went to Southampton on loan last year, scored a couple of goals, looked good at times, looked bright at times. Did he look like a Liverpool player? Did he look like someone that can come on for Liverpool Football Club and change games? No. Divock Origi, yes, we hold on to stuff like Madrid where he scored in the Champions League final, moments like Barcelona in the semi-final of the Champions League, and that goal against Everton, of course. But has he reached his peak at Liverpool Football Club? Yes. Is he going to get better than what he's already displayed for us? No. You know, can he now come on and change games? Rarely. He's not that sort of player. He's very lazy. He's not someone that you can bring on from the bench and bang, he changes the game. He's not someone that's getting anywhere near Liverpool's squad at the moment. So, you know, they're players that we should be looking to move on and looking to improve on. Not be told that, oh, we didn't buy anyone this window because we didn't think anyone could get into our first team. It's not how managing a football team works. When Brendan Rodgers was sacked, Thierry Henry said that the Liverpool owners should be looked at because they don't really know how to run a football club. He doesn't think they understand football. And he's absolutely right. And that's the problem. You know, this isn't baseball. This isn't look at who's on the pitch and they're the important ones. You need a squad. Football is huge. There's so many important games in the season. You know, you have an international break this 2 weeks. I'm terrified. Virgil van Dijk's gone to play for the Netherlands. We know he's an important player for them. He's their skipper. Yeah. He's just played 3 back-to-back 90 minutes in the Premier League after spending the whole of last season out. I'm terrified he picks up another injury there. There's so many players that go out on international duty. And with Liverpool Football Club, we tend to, you know, that's when we tend to lose players to injury. And for me, you know, these players play too much football. And Jurgen Klopp moans about, you know, the fixture list and the FA and the Premier League and BT Sport and Sky not helping them. Well, Jurgen Klopp should be having the same conversations with FSG because our owners aren't helping them either. Our owners aren't helping these players either because they work their socks off and they're getting ran into the ground and we don't have enough depth to rest players like Virgil van Dijk, you know, and Mo Salah. I am terrified for a Salah injury because where are the goals coming from if he gets injured?
For owners, sorry, Jack, I thought you finished there. For owners who are risk averse, this seems like a massive risk to me. I know I keep repeating the same fact, Jack, but I can't comprehend how being so close to no European football last year and the riches that comes with the Champions League hasn't alerted them to the fact that we could again miss out, but at the far end of the pitch. Last season, we had no defenders because of injuries. This season, we're running the risk of potentially having no forwards or not enough forwards. And that's before we talk the AFCON, which, yes, minimum, probably 3 games, but a lot of travelling, more air miles for the players, the club not being able to manage their training sessions when they're away with their international teams. And with all due respect to the international setups, a lot of them are nowhere near as professional or as rigorous or the protections around the players as they would have at Liverpool. So we have to accept and allow that we will probably pick up some knocks.
Yeah, and you know, Chelsea pick up a knock. It's fine because they've got about, you know, they've got countless amount of depth. So Man City, United have strengthened massively this year, and you know, fair play to United. They've managed to get 25 million for Daniel James, and they've invested and they've sold players. Manchester City.
How have they done that, by the way?
Well, Manchester City as well. Yes, they spent 100 million on Grealish this summer. You know, they lost Mendy due to, you know, unforeseen circumstances, but they've also sold a lot of players too and recuperated a lot more money. Chelsea, you know, after signing Lukaku, they had a positive net spend because they've managed to get a lot of players off their books this summer too. So we're the only ones that, you know, are sat here going, oh, we'll just bring in one player, then we'll sell a shit ton of players and we'll just sit on our hands because, you know, because we've got a good starting 11, no one can improve that. So that's fine. We'll be happy with this. You know, it's like when you build your FPL team and you build your 11 and then you're like, oh, I'll just put 3 random subs because you only need your 11 because you only get your points from your 11.
That's me.
So, yeah,
that's me. By the way, on FPL.
But this isn't FPL. This is football, and we did so well to get back up there from where we were, winning Champions Leagues again, winning leagues again, and now we're gonna stagnate if we carry on having windows like this. We're gonna fall behind, and that's the frustrating thing. And look, I'm positive for this season, barring no injuries. Liverpool will be up there. Liverpool will be competing for trophies. We will, and we can go what ifs with injuries. But let's be positive and let's focus on what we do have and the fact that it could be a very, very good season still without much investment. But it's inevitable that with windows like this, we're gonna fall behind in the future, and that is what is so frustrating.
I know that we've been ignoring the chat a little bit, and I'm going to get back to the chat in a second because Jack's going to be heading off. But before I let you go, Jack, I want some optimism, mate. So to the people in the chat who mightn't be as clued up as you are, and I know I certainly am as clued up as you are with regard to what is coming through, what is in the academy, what is down the line, who can we look forward to? What are the positives from the great work that Alex Inglethorpe and the academy staff have done?
Well, I love Mr. Inglethorpe, Craig, and that bridge to the first team is the reason why FSG are able to be as sustainable as they are, because they've got that spot on. We've got so many good, talented youngsters. You mentioned Bobby Clark earlier. I mentioned, someone asked the other stream what who to look out for this season in our youth squads. I mentioned Oakley Cannonier, and he started brilliantly this season. He really, really has. The ball boy for obviously corner taking quickly. Jay Norris, I felt absolutely awful for young Jay Norris yesterday. He signs his first professional contract at Liverpool Football Club. It's announced, and the tweet is full of replies saying sign someone. This isn't a new signing. Blah blah blah. That is one of the best days in that kid's life. And scrolling through the replies, hoping to see things about good luck for your future at this football club. We're really excited to see more of you. Instead, it's just wanting more and more and more. And we should be, trying to get these youngsters to want to play at Liverpool Football Club. We should be trying to get people to go to Liverpool Football Club. They're lovely there. You're young, you go there, the fans love you, this, that, and the other. But instead, we don't appreciate things like that enough. And, Jay Norris is an excellent young player coming through. We have so many good, talented youngsters coming through. Not only have we done well getting some first team contracts this year, we've also done very well at, tying down some young players to long-term contracts and their first team contracts as well. So, yeah, lots to look forward to, Craig. There really is. We got to see some exciting young talent in pre-season with, Owen Beck, Connor Bradley, fullbacks who I've been excited about for the last season or two. Cade Gordon, who was a signing in January from Derby, who looked so good at Derby. We didn't see too much of last season with the youngsters, but when we did see him, he looked good. He looked good in pre-season. He's going to be a real star. Everyone who supports Liverpool knows that Mateusz Musialowski has the capabilities to be a star. There's so many more as well. Leighton Stewart, who's picked up a difficult injury, but before that, he was firing. Leighton Clarkson, who's now out on loan at Blackburn. We've got so much talent and so much to look forward to. But at the same time, we need to bring in players who are ready now to compete with the first team now and start putting pressure on players who won't be ready for another couple of years yet.
Perfect summarization, Jack, and thank you for giving up some of your time on a transfer deadline day again, buddy, and we look forward to having more of you throughout the season. I'm going to let you go back about your evening. I'm guessing this, but you look like you're dying of a hangover to me, mate.
I've just not really slept much, mate. It's bank holiday weekends. I obviously played in that charity game at the weekend, so I'm aching everywhere. And yeah, I'm literally going to put my head down as soon as this is over and be very sad that we've not signed anyone.
Excellent. Sorry, something just happened there. I had no idea what it was or who it was that was coming in there. But I will let you go, Mr. Gill. Thank you very much, as always, for your time. And I will get back to your comments now, folks. I'm going to stay on right through till 11 p.m. tonight. And there is some break in transfer news that I'm going to come to in a second, not Liverpool related, unfortunately. Jack, I will talk to you very soon, my man. Thank you. Take care,
Cheers,
buddy.
Greg. See you in a bit. Ta-ra.
Thanks, Jack. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's just me. I can get these headphones out now. And the breaking transfer news that I was talking about was that Crystal Palace have just signed Hudson Edouard from Celtic. So Crystal Palace have got themselves in an attacking option. And that was a name that was once floating around as a Liverpool potential signing, as a Leicester City potential signing. And they've just announced that Crystal Palace have signed Hudson Edouard from Celtic. Again, I want to bring this comment back up from Luke because it was a super chat that I didn't get to talk about while Jack was here. Origi is a striker who can't even be trusted to play up top. He gets moved to the wing whenever he plays. Not creative enough, should have moved for Doku. I don't disagree with you at all, mate. You know, I've been saying we should have moved for Jeremy Doku the entire window. And it wouldn't have been a reactionary signing because we know we've been tracking the kid for 3 or 4 years now. Right, somebody else says, oh my God, let that sink in. How are we expected to attract the likes of Elliott if we behave like Chelsea and United spending every window? Well, my answer to that is, mate, we've given the pathway through for Elliott. So if you're saying that we shouldn't be signing players because of Elliott, we've given it. Elliott's playing. He's in the first team squad. Curtis Jones is in the first team squad. Trent Alexander-Arnold found his way to the first team squad. Reece Williams found his way to the first team squad. They've come through the academy system. Musialowski will make his way to the first team squad. So you don't have to be just go out there, sign. And by the way, when you're talking about it as if United have no players coming through theirs, Mason Greenwood, an example of a talented United youngster who was good enough and found his way through. So I don't think it's a matter of we won't be able to attract young players if we go and sign players. It's a matter of getting a balance between being able to attract and sign those young up-and-coming talents like Elliott, like Musialowski, and mixing that in with some established talent. And, you know, you need to get there's nobody saying we don't need to get the mix right. We certainly do. But I don't think it's a case of one or the other, buddy, at least not in my opinion anyway. What else we got? What do I think of Mbappe moving to Real Madrid? I don't think he is. They have offered 180-something million pound now, which has been, again, turned down apparently by PSG. I don't know what's going on at PSG, what they think is going to happen with Kylian Mbappe. They've already offered him a new contract of around, I think it was 46 million quid a season. And he said he doesn't want it. He's a Real Madrid fan and he wants to go and play at Real Madrid. So as things stand with 1 hour and 2 minutes to go in the transfer window, we are as we were, ladies and gentlemen. Again, someone saying welcome Saul to Chelsea. Yeah, they've brought him in from Atletico. 189 million was the offer there, as you can see on the screen as well. I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it? This is for a player, by the way, that they know that they can well go and sign on a pre-contract for free in January and bring him in next summer. And so they've gone and signed Camavinga as well, because that was somebody that PSG wanted. Spurs have brought in Emerson Royal, as we said, 21.5 million. Right, here's some options again. Mariba, he's gone to Leipzig. Malen, Dortmund, Daka, Leicester City. All bargains. And I don't disagree with you, mate. I wanted Patson Daka at Liverpool. We've seen what he was doing at Salzburg, excuse me. And again, we've been long linked. Daniel Malen, the links really came around, I suppose, in and around the Euros. And Mariba as well, a good, talented youngster that Barca wanted rid of, and he ends up at Leipzig. Again, we see good value not being picked up by the club. And again, players that are all young as well, so fit into the mold of the type of signing that you would expect from FSG, and they were just allowed to go elsewhere. So something that Jack said earlier on has really stuck with me, and I never really put 2 and 2 together and came up with this. But Jack said to us, are we being punished as a reminder for all of the furlough, for the £77 tickets, for all of the things that we as fans protested and argued against, or not joining the Super League? Is this FSG's way of reminding us, well, if we don't do these things, if we don't let us join the Super League, if we don't up the ticket prices, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get the bare bones truth of it, which is that we're not going to do a goddamn thing and we're going to rely on what we have with the club. It is an interesting point that Jack made, and I have to say, even I didn't think that they could possibly be that petty. And I'm not saying that they are, but it is an interesting point. We'll end up being told to trust the process like Arsenal. Yeah, but what process, mate? Because we trust the manager, we trust the players that are here, and this was the really funny, and not funny, that's definitely not the right word. The really annoying part about this window is that we all knew We had realistic expectations going into it. As the last comment I pulled up, or a previous comment I pulled up showed, Marlon, Daka, nobody's talking about 85, 90 million pound players there. You're talking about players that could have been gotten for somewhere between 20 and, if we go all the way to Doku, maybe 40 million pound. Somewhere between that. So Daka went for what, 22 million quid to Leicester, something like that. Marlon about, I think, was it 25 to Dortmund. So realistic signings in a price bracket that you would assume that we would be working in. And yet we've let them all go. Even today, Edouard. I don't think Hudson Edouard is good enough, by the way, but there are some people that do. He's gone to Crystal Palace. So every little window or sniff of an opportunity to bring somebody in, and nothing. Victor has a super chat here. Let me bring it up. Hey, Craig, who are the winners and losers of this window? I say PSG and Man United, the winners. Losers, sorry to say, Liverpool and Arsenal. But look, Arsenal are losers from the point of view of that. To me, they pissed that money up against the wall. Outside of maybe Ben White, if you play him in a back three with two tall centre backs beside him, I would say yes. United, winners in the window. Without doubt, they've done very well. They've brought back Ronaldo. They've brought in Varane. And, of course, they brought in Jadon Sancho. Who else have you suggested in there? PSG, well, look, I don't even want to discuss PSG because what they do, quite frankly, disgusts me. Because we know that they can't justify. They aren't really bringing in the money to pay for all of these players. Let's be honest about it. There's no fucking way, in my opinion, that that's the case. But, yeah, we would have to go down as probably a club that will be mocked by other fans because of this transfer window. But we can't just ignore the renewals. The renewals have been good. And one of the things that I do give FSG credit for, and there isn't very many more these days, is that we have maintained the nucleus, the core group of players, but we haven't added to them. And that's frustrating. And yeah, look, nobody wanted to lose Van Dijk. Of course not. Nobody wanted to lose Robbo. Nobody wanted to lose Trent. They're all great. And we've acknowledged and thanked and said brilliant for that. But at the same time, generational manager. We don't want to look back in 10 years' time and go, do you remember Klopp's era at Liverpool, that one Premier League we won, that one European Cup that we won, and think maybe it could have been more. It could have been a dynasty. We could have been looking back at Klopp, but we probably will look at him with the likes of Paisley and Joe Fagan and all these other fantastic managers that Liverpool have had over the years. But it's the owners. I'm sorry, I can't go any other way other than it's the owners, and they're just being cheapskates. And by the way, somebody tried to say earlier on it might be something to do with their nationality. I've never once, other people have done it in comments or whatever, but never once have I singled out the owners because of their nationality. No, far from it. I'm angry at the owners because they aren't doing what they've told us they're going to do, which is allow us to compete with the very best clubs in the world financially. That's what they said. Under promise and overachieve. Their words, not mine. Chelsea winners, they're getting Saul on loan. Yeah, 5 million fee, I believe, for that loan for the season. But I don't know if there's an option or an obligation to buy. I'm not 100% certain on that one. Renewal, a given, isn't supposed to tie down your best players. I can't have that. I'm with you. I'm just trying to show some positive, mate, to show that I'm not just sitting here as a ranting anti-FSG lunatic, because it's taken me quite a while to get to this situation where I'm even arguing about it. Let me just change back. I haven't changed my green screen image to the right one. I can already hear Connor moaning at me. There you go. So that's back to the right one. Apologies. I'm just trying to be a little bit balanced because I want to go even further in. What I want to say would probably get me barred from YouTube, mate. Would probably get the channel cancelled. That's how angry I am at this moment in time. Kate, how are you? One of our chief moderators says, what if we get a big signing next summer? Here's my question. Here's my answer to that, Kate. It's entirely plausible. Absolutely. We could get a Jude Bellingham or somebody else next summer. But answer me this one. Do you think the other clubs are all going to stand still as well? So if they see us going out and getting a player that they think improves, they're going to do business as well. Like, we're not going to be the only club doing business, but we're one of the only clubs not really doing business in this window where We've had a season where we finished third. United leapfrogged ahead of us. City won it. Chelsea won the European Cup. They've got out and signed Lukaku. We keep going back over the same thing. But yeah, here we are, where Karius is still being paid a wage by the club. Origi's still being paid a wage by the club. And they have no futures realistically at the club. So we couldn't even move them on, which we had a year to do. But a year in the Origi case, basically, to find a buyer. And we haven't been able to do it. AFCON in January said, calling Dr. Jones, lose another 4 players. Yes. Now, fingers crossed, mate. We only lose them for, I think, 3-4 games max. And, best case scenario there is that we have everybody else fit and available when Sadio Mane and Salah go. Now, of course, I know Keita goes off, but my real fear is in the attacking end of the pitch. So that's why I'm talking about them 2 boys gone off. Who do we have then? Bobby Firmino, Diogo Jota, and probably one of the youngsters. Either we stop admitting Harvey Elliott's a midfielder and he suddenly becomes a forward again, or what, we rely on Musialowski or Cade Gordon, 16-year-old young lad, to come in and do a job. It's asking too much. It's asking Klopp to work miracles. And by the way, all of this is before. We've only really spoken about Liverpool challenging for the Premier League and the Champions League this season. That's before we talk about the domestic cups, which we always seem to be willing to fucking throw away every season, even though, let's be honest, an L trip to Wembley wouldn't go astray. I love the League Cup as an example. I know I've much more of a love for the League Cup than the FA Cup on a personal level, maybe because I've seen a lot of success from Liverpool in the League Cup over the years, but I wouldn't mind another one of them. I wouldn't mind Hendo getting the full complement of medals by going and winning the FA Cup. It's just, it feels entirely unnecessary. And I don't know what's going to come next. I don't know what is going to come when this window slams shut. I don't know. Well, I have an idea what's going to happen. We'll get the extent of Bobby Firmino's injury announced in the coming days. And of course, we won't be able to do anything about that because the window's closed. They'll probably try and work harder to get Mohamed Salah's contract done to try and placate fans. But I don't even think that's going to work because we expect that, as our viewer said earlier on. Contract renewals should be expected. That's true. So we should just expect naturally that Mohamed Salah gets a new deal. That's fair. Still no ambition. I can't get that thought out of my head, though, what Jack said about are we being punished over the Super League reaction? Sorry, I need to move my chair a little bit across there. Are we being punished over the Super League reaction? Is this them showing us, look what we can do? If, I'm genuinely worried about what's going to happen here, because if we take an injury or two this season and start slipping down that league table, the finger of blame is going to be pointed. And, nobody wins in that scenario. The manager, the players come under grief, the press conferences get worse as the weeks go by, the pressure ramps up, and all this leads to what? Free fall, perhaps. It's all avoidable, all entirely avoidable. And look, let's be honest with it ain't going to happen now, is it? We are 52 minutes away from this window slamming shut. And again, we're seeing Palace getting Edouard, Leicester signing Lookman, Chelsea going out there and getting Saul Niguez in. It's fucking disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. It is. To me, it's disgusting. But look, keep your comments coming in. Again, don't forget, we have teamed up with the Ultimate Fan game. It's a brand new game for you guys. It's like fantasy football and a FIFA pack opening come together, and you've got this fantastic game called Ultimate Fan. Once you signed up via the link in the description of the stream, you'll be given a free 10-pack card to put into your team, and you'll score points based upon things such as goals or assists, shots on targets, tackles won, clean sheets, a lot like FPL. Every week, then, you'll also receive a free 3-pack of players. That comes in every Tuesday, right throughout the 38 game weeks. There's £300,000 in prizes to be won across the whole season. This week alone, there was $8,500 in prizes. It doesn't matter that you missed the first week or two. You can still sign in. You can still play for that money on a weekly basis. All you need to do is be 18 years of age, be a resident of UK or Ireland, and again, it is entirely free to play. You can buy gold or silver packs, but they limit your spend to a maximum of £5 a month. So even if you do buy these packs, which is entirely optional, maximum spend that's allowed is £5 a month. And as I said, this past game week alone, they gave away £8,500 in prizes, and people as low as 300th place were given cash prizes. So if you want to sign up to that, there is a link in the description. It is entirely free, and we will be working with the guys at Ultimate Fan right throughout the season. So again, hope to see your support. Use our link below to sign up, and not only are you helping us, but you get to use a really fun game as well. And we'll see if you can beat us throughout the season. See if you can beat myself or Connor. Suarez is trending all over Twitter. Maybe, mate, but I can't see it. You know, well, it's easy for me to say that's not going to happen now, but they have just bought back in Antoine Griezmann. So, sorry, I'm thinking out loud here. Apologies, I'm thinking out loud. You know, I'm still dismissing it, but they have just bought in Antoine Griezmann from Barcelona. So, I don't know. Could this be a desperation move? Is it just Twitter talk? We've got 49 minutes to find out. Stay tuned. Stay with us. If anything happens, we will, of course, let you know straight away. But I never even joined the dots on the Griezmann thing with Suarez. I've probably nothing to it, but again, stay with us, wait and see. I know he's 34, mate. I know he is, but again, if it was a 1-year deal and he got us out of a tight spot or came off the bench with 20 to go, you know, I'm not saying it's going to happen. It probably won't. But if you're saying to me right now, Craig, would you take Suarez for a year versus Divock Origi? I'm fucking taking Suarez for the year. And, you know, at least having that fighting ability, or somebody who I know can get into the box and score a goal, or somebody who can produce a moment of magic. So as much as I think it's highly unlikely, if it was on the table right now as an option for a year, would I take it? Yes, I would. I've got to be honest. He's not what he once was. He's getting older, as people have pointed out, but I'd fucking take it right now as a short-term option. It would be similar to Cavani move, somebody else said. Get him home, said Natasha Lee. It was Chicken Boy, actually, who said it'd be similar to the Cavani move. I take Suarez, but the chances of it are slim, said Joe O'Reilly, and that's pretty much where I am as well, Joe. Just looking at my phone here, sorry. WhatsApp message coming in. Sorry. Just had to reply to somebody there. It's defo won't happen, not going to lie, said Joseph. Mate, look, I don't think it's going to happen either, pal. I'm realistic here. But, you know, we do have 47 minutes to go. And, well, time's there. And, you know, there's deal sheets that can go in if you need a bit of extra time and stuff. But, look, realistically, it's not going to happen. But what I will say is it would be a lot easier to get a loan over the line than a full-on deal at this point for anybody. So let's say he's got 1 year left in his Atleti deal. And again, entirely hypothetical here. If they wanted to loan him to us, it could be done rather quickly and rather easily. That beach ball would score more than Origi, said somebody else. FSG out, said Mark Cox. Bring Suarez home, please. João Felix is out injured. Suarez won't be leaving, said Joe O'Reilly. Let's sign Daniel Sturridge. No, you're right. No, that's definitely not the solution here. Craig, why did we seem to back out of the Saul deal? And this comes in from Redform 3D. I don't know if it was his wages, mate, but he was offered and hawked around to all the clubs in England. So he was offered to United, he was offered to Liverpool, he was offered to Chelsea, offered to everybody. Some of them just wanted a straight loan. Some weren't willing to pay his wages. But what we do know is Chelsea have agreed a deal and he will go to Chelsea. I think they're paying a $5 million loan fee for the season. And why we didn't go through with it or why we didn't act upon it, I can only assume because Jurgen Klopp or the club don't believe we need options in midfield. And as I said to you at the very start of the stream, I'm open to the idea of believing that our midfield is okay if we're looking at Elliott and Jones to take up those minutes. But that still doesn't change the fact we're too light up top. And we're 1 or 2 injuries away from having almost 0 options from an attacking perspective and having to start using Oxlade-Chamberlain as a false 9 again like we've seen in pre-season. Now, was that the preemptive to this? That's what I'm wondering. And again, I'll go through the timeline once more for people who, haven't been around at the start. Let's go back over Liverpool media reports put out by papers and the journalists who were closer to the club since May. Redbird Investment expected to cover the losses during the COVID pandemic. June, suddenly the COVID pandemic has affected our transfer plans, even though that's a bit hypocritical or a bit against what was said in May. Then in July, in July, Liverpool want a midfielder and at least one forward. Then Jared Bowen is talked about as one of Liverpool's attacking shortlists, potentially because he's a homegrown player and we might not have any space in our squad if we couldn't move Shaqiri or Origi on. Then all of a sudden it's a sell to buy window for Liverpool. Okay, in August the club starts to sell those players. Shaqiri's moved on, Wilson's moved on, Grujic has moved on, Awioni has moved on, Grabara has moved on, Lee Miller has moved on. And then we move on to a point in August where we have Shaqiri gone out the door, and now all of a sudden Liverpool don't want a forward. And yesterday we wake up to the news that Edwards could be going. And then all of that today, with what we knew was going to happen, is that they put out Jordan Henderson's contract renewal today. And then Sky Sports now reporting that Mbappe is going to sign for Real Madrid for free next season. So everything, Haaland will go next season somewhere else, and we'll still be sitting around wondering what the fuck's going on. Because I don't buy into next summer FC. I'm somebody that, how can I believe anything when I've heard the same shit over and over and over again? Sign Jack Gill, somebody said. He's already signed. He's already signed the Anfield agenda. So don't worry about that. We've got Mr. Gill covered. Another comment here. Where is it gone? Yeah, great. Where is this one gone? Sorry. Right, let me pull this one up. United have had the best transfer window and we've done fuck all. We're genuinely coming 5th. I still think we'll make the top 4, mate, but that angers me that I'm even having to say that. I still think we'll make the top 4. Like that should be some type of acceptable landmark for us. No, that's not good enough. We should be a club that wants to win the league. We should be a club that wants to win the Champions League and the domestic cups, not a club that might come in 4th place. That's not what Liverpool Football Club is about. And especially coming from where we were. We were over there. Last year was an anomaly. Every other year we were right there challenging. Now where are we? A fucking laughing stock in the transfer market and praying that this great group of players that we have, and they are a great group of players, and our great manager can once again go to the well and try and dig up enough minutes, enough courage, enough goals to get something out of this season. Somebody said Ivan Toney could be a good option, in my opinion. Origi's replacing him. He scores 10 plus goals by the end of the season. Would you be interested? No, I wouldn't be interested in Ivan Toney because he's... Oh, what's this one? Wolves turned down a £30 million bid from Spurs for Damator on Monday. They wanted $50 million to sell him on deadline day. There you go. Another little piece of intrigue. No, I wouldn't take Ivan Toney, mate, yet. Although I will say, look, Ivan Toney has done it through all the leagues he's come up in, but Brentford are an ambitious club, and I think it would have taken... They wanted, they've got a new stadium, Brentford. They want to establish themselves in the Premier League. And I think, it would be basically admitting they're going to be relegated if they were to sell Ivan Toney. They've already sold Ollie Watkins, and they were clever enough to replace Ollie Watkins with Ivan Toney, who, showed up and got the goals for them, broke the championship record for goals scored in a season. Where can you watch deadline day? Here, Thomas, right where you are with me. I'll let you know if anything happens. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please do take a sec, hit the subscribe button, Drop a like on the stream, even though it's fuck all to like, to be honest with you, about this one. And again, just a reminder that the link to sign up to the Ultimate Fan Game is in the description of the stream. You can win up to £300,000 or part of a £300,000 prize pool. You have to be 18 plus, a resident of UK or Ireland. It is entirely free to play, and you can win prizes every single match week. In the last week alone, there was £8,500 in prizes to be won, and they paid up as low as 300th place, getting a cash prize. You get a pack of 10 players as soon as you sign up with our link in the description, and it is entirely free to play the game. You can buy gold and silver packs, but you can only spend a maximum of £5 a month. So again, it really helps us out if you use the link in the description. That's another we sent you their way, and helps us, of course, push the channel forward. So if you want to play that game, think of it as a mixture of fantasy football and FIFA pack openings combined together, and you get a 3-pack of players every single Tuesday as well throughout the 38 game weeks to add and improve your squad. Right. Adama Traore, somebody else is saying, look, here we are now. What? And well, Adama Traore wanted to move, by the way. Let me make this clear. Adama Traore had requested that George Mendes, who we know runs the Gestifew agency, very powerful agent, represents Ronaldo, was part of the deal that brought Diogo Jota and Fabinho to Liverpool. So we've got good working relationship there. And he instructed George Mendes to try and find him a club and a move away. And Spurs was the one that was shown the most interest. But, it looks like he's going to be at Wolves by the time the window slams shut as well. Joke of an owner, we're acting like a small club in this window. Adama Traore can't finish. Look, I'm not saying Adama Traore is the answer, man. I've said all along, I think we can do better than Adama Traore. I think Adama Traore has too many unanswered questions for me. The finished product isn't there. We know what he has. He has pace, he has power, he has directness, but he also has a right shoulder that has had a lot of dislocations. I think 5-6 over the past couple of seasons. So, there are negative points there as well. And I think Doku was the answer, personally, rather than Adama Traore. I mean, you say this like it's my fault, mate. I've been watching this channel every day the last month waiting for transfer, and we got fucking nothing. Like, I don't know if you're trying to aim that at me, mate. Like, I have any sway over John W. Henry opening up the checkbook, mate. I've been sitting here every day waiting for a transfer, mate. I've been scouring newspaper reports and talking to my friends who are journalists, reading every bit of information I can, trying to bring you all the information possible. But what I haven't done, like other people have, by the way, is I haven't told you any fucking lies. I haven't once lied to you during this transfer window. I can go onto Twitter now and find you 50 accounts of people who have lied and pretended that they have information and pretended that we were about to do this and swore blind that we were going to do that. All I've ever done the entire window is being honest. From day one of this window to the last day of the window, I've only ever been honest. I've never promised anything because I can't. How can I promise you? I won't lie to you. So if you're having that as a little dig at me, okay, you're entitled to your opinion, mate. I don't believe I've done that to deserve it, but I accept your opinion. He said, no hate to you, Craig. Just, where is it? Nope, not that one. Sorry. Where has he gone? Sorry, his comment was there. And I want to be fair to him because, you did take the time to write in the second one. There it is. No hate to you, Craig. Just hate the media. I'm the same, mate. But again, the media will have been briefed on a lot of this stuff. So, to go back to what I spoke about earlier on, at the start of the window, the brief was renewal of contracts, move players on, sign a midfielder, and at least one forward. So that's what the brief was. That's what they would have been told. Because I know enough journalists to know that they don't make it. There are some, of course, in some of the lesser known ones or some of the less reliable ones, but the real honest day-to-day journalists that we see every single day, the Paul Joyces, the Melissa Reddys, James Pearces and all, they don't lie. You can say that they're a club mouthpiece at times if you want. I wouldn't say that, but they certainly would only report what they have been briefed or told or believed to be the truth. And if we're hearing this from them, and James Pearce this morning, by the way, this goes to show you how quickly football can change and move. He said as early as this morning that Nat Phillips was available to be sold and could move on today. And I know James Pearce, and James Pearce doesn't go around lying. That would have been what was his honest assessment and his honest information at hand. And then a few hours later, Nat Phillips has signed a 4-year deal because clearly the club can't move him on, and Reece Williams went on loan. And I'm sound about having Nat Phillips as a 5th choice centre-back. We're all happy enough about that. No issues. But that just goes to show, where was the planning? Do you know what I mean? If someone was available to be sold and then all of a sudden is given a new contract, that's a big drastic shift in one day. That's how mad football can be at times. So that's why I never swear on anything. The only thing I promised in this transfer window was that we would sign Canade. I went out before most other people and told you we were going to sign Canade, and it was done. I've only ever done it twice. Once was with Van Dijk, and I technically got that wrong because I said Van Dijk could be done in the summer. But we know we got caught on the roller coaster in Blackpool with a stick of rock with Kloppo, and we had to pay the stupid bastard tax, as I call it, and we ended up paying a bit extra from getting them in January. Those two are the only players I've ever gone out on a limb and say Liverpool Football Club will sign. Any truth to the Suarez rumours, Craig? Not his biggest fan, but I would certainly take it. At this point, Sean, I don't think there is any truth to them, no. As somebody pointed out in the chat earlier on, João Felix is out injured at the minute, so will Atleti want to lose another player? They brought in Antoine Griezmann today, Sean, so I think that's probably what sparked these talks or rumours about it, but I've yet to see or be shown or told or send anything to my phone. Actually, there's one message. Let me just check this one. No, nothing. Nothing to do with transfers. Our midfield lacks creativity, forward line too reliant on Salah. I agree with you, mate, but what I will say is the way that we set up our midfield isn't really meant to be creative, other than perhaps the Harvey Elliott role. But that's very right-hand sided, so I get where you're coming from. And I said I'm willing to understand the midfield choice in this window, but I can't for the life of me understand why adding no forward in. When Minamino, the manager clearly doesn't trust them, where Origi clearly doesn't trust them. And there's a few screenshots of the game there as well underneath if anybody does want it. There is a link in the description, as I said, for the Ultimate Fan app. It is a class. It's a class game. I've only been brought to my attention recently, and I'm not somebody who plays FIFA, by the way, so I don't do the pack openings, but I know the Pie Face and the likes do this on the regular. And it's a great game, as I said. It really would help us out if you use the link in the below to sign up completely free. We'll be doing some videos on it throughout the season, having a bit of fun. Maybe we can have a bit of a week-to-week gloating about who finishes higher, whether it's me, whether it's Connor, whether it's one of you guys in the chat. And maybe we can add it into our members group, actually, on our Discord, which might actually be a really good idea for those that are members of Anfield Agenda FC. Maybe we can keep track in our Discord and, have a bit of a bragging session about who's winning each week and stuff like that. All you need to do is use the link in the description below. Have to be 18 plus, a resident of the UK or an Ireland to play, a UK or Ireland to play. And we'll have a bit of fun with it throughout the season. We might need something to fucking make us smile the way things are looking. I'm aging as this transfer window clock clinks down. Same, mate. I got up today, right, and I fully believed I'd see something when I got up. I didn't know what, but I fully believed there'd be something. And I looked at my phone. Usually I'd have, during the transfer window, when I wake up, I wouldn't be an exaggeration to say I'd have 30 or 40 WhatsApp messages. Zip. Nothing. Other than the Hendo renewal, which we knew yesterday was going to happen today. What do you all think of FSG now? Craig, you and I had a debate a few years back. Was I right? Sean, mate, I'll be honest and say I can't remember the debate, but I'm going to work off the basis that maybe I defended them a bit and you were very anti-FSG. If I think I'm working off the right one. But what I tell you now is, mate, where I am is after the Super League, I was done. I don't jump up and down and say FSG out, FSG out, FSG out, out of kind of respect for Klopp and the players. But I have to say, mate, this is pushing me right to the brink. This transfer window and the 2 fingers up that we're getting again from FSG, it's pushing me to the brink, fella. And, there's no coming back. I'll never, ever, ever, ever trust them again after that European Super League fiasco. And they are... I've got to be very careful about the words that I choose now. What camp am I in? I'm in the FSGO camp. That's where I'd move my cards to right now. You know, there's always space in the middle, and there is always the good points, and we can't deny and rewrite history for some of the good things, nor can we deny and rewrite history for the negative things. But that one thing I keep saying to you that Jack said to me earlier on, that one point about, is all of this a little reminder to us that because we couldn't join the Super League, because we couldn't put the ticket prices up, are we getting a little reminder here of, well, you didn't let us do these things, we have to live within our means. This is the repercussions. I wonder, Sean, mate. And again, another fair point from Sean said, a lot of fans defending him, but bashing other fans for not defending them. That's the problem. That's what hurts me the most, mate. That is really what hurts me the most, that we have fans who all love the same football club. Doesn't matter what part of the world you're from, if you're local, non-local, this particular thing doesn't really take into account. It's not like the ticketing arguments, for example, where it's often locals against overseas people because, you know, they feel like they can't get access to the tickets and the tickets are over. This isn't the debate this time. The debate is purely around what FSG have not done, and that has caused fans to argue with each other yet again. Entirely avoidable. So the club, again, it feels like to me, are pitting fans against each other. You know, some people, myself included, remember what it was like when Roy Hodgson was manager and looking at Konchesky and Poulsen and Milan Jovanovic and those players on the pitch. And people are like, well, FSG saved us from bankruptcy and we were there and we are here now. And yeah, that's true. But there's always a caveat here. They didn't do it as a fucking charitable donation. They did it because they seen an undervalued asset. And I've always been fine with the idea of FSG coming in, buying Liverpool, putting the main stand up, doing the training ground, you know, redoing the Annie Road end, the new club shop, all the other little bits and pieces that they've done, and selling the club down the line for an enormous profit. I made peace with that a long time ago. But what I wanted, and what I think we all expected, was for them to give the best manager we've had in my lifetime the tools and the funding to be back in the transfer market. We had higher net spends in the bad days than we have now. So that's where I am in it, mate. I can see the good and the bad, but I can't accept that I'm going to look back and you're going to look back and all Liverpool fans are going to look back at a time when we had Jurgen Klopp, Virgil van Dijk, and all of these amazing players, and we were that close to a dynasty. We were that close to winning multiple trophies year on year, to probably ending up in Jurgen Klopp's time here with 2 or 3 Premier League, maybe a couple of domestic cups as well to go with the Super Cup, the Club World Cup, and the European Cup. And that's the unacceptable nature of it all. That we're going to look back on this and there are going to be regrets. Avoidable regrets over the sake of what? A 40 million quid investment in a forward now? That might be the difference between Liverpool picking up a domestic cup or being able to go a little bit deeper in the European Cup. Because as I said before, we were knocked out by a bang average Real Madrid team that Chelsea very easily dealt with. And yet here we are. Divock Origi still at the club. Karius still at the club. Amazingly. Yeah, it's frustrating because we can't. Who do you moan at? Where do we aim this anger? Because we can't let it distract Klopp and the players. We just can't. That's one thing we don't want to do and we can't afford to do. So how do we vent? How do we as fans show our displeasure at the way that the club is being run at the minute? And I suppose that's the endearing question that will probably find its own natural solution in the coming days and weeks after this transfer window, when maybe the extent of Firmino's injury, which we all hope is minimal, that becomes clear. Will Mohamed Salah get a contract extension? Because let's not forget, that hasn't been done in this window. A lot of the contracts have been extended, but the top goal scorer, the record breaker, the Egyptian king, the superstar, still hasn't had his contract renewed. So let's play fantasy football here. And we move to January. And Kylian Mbappe signs on for Real Madrid in January for the end of the season where he'll go. What do you think PSG are going to do? They're probably going to come knocking for Mohamed Salah, who would have 18 months left on his deal. If I'm PSG right now, I'm putting the feelers out to Mohamed Salah. You haven't signed on there, fella. We're going to be losing Kylian Mbappe next summer because he won't take his 46 million a year. How does 30 million a year sound to you? Sound good, Mo? You'll have 18 months left in your deal with Liverpool. So we'll probably be able to come to an agreement or throw a figure at John W. Henry that'll be acceptable. Because if you don't sign, you can run your contract down. Then you've got 1 year left at the end of the season. That's my worry. That's always been my worry during this window, is Mohamed Salah and what happens if we don't tie him down. Now, of course, there's still time. That doesn't have to be done during the window. But when we see 2-3 moves ahead, when we see what's happening in the transfer market, it worries me. None of the front three actually have been renewed. No Mane, no Firmino, no Salah. None of them renewed in this window. So that leads me to the conclusion that one of them at least is going to be sold next summer. And whoever that person is will probably be the one that will fund 1 or 2 transfers. And we'll be told, well, you got your transfers. We told you last summer you were going to get your transfers. How do you think we're going to pay for them? We're going to pay for them how we've always paid for them under Jurgen Klopp's tenure because of FSG, by fucking selling players. That's how we'll pay for them. Hello, Craig. Super Channel, are you a fan of the Fontaines? I'm not, but Connor is. I know he's a big fan of the Fontaines. I'm a boomer, mate. That's, past me, but that's Connor is. I can tell you that factually because I know he's been to a few of their gigs. So there's no accident that comment appeared on screen because he was doing it in the background. Firmino was gone next season, said Joe O'Reilly. I think it's him or it's Mane. One of them, mate, will be gone next summer, I believe. Mane is not up to it, says Sydney. I honestly don't know where I am on Mane other than worried, because nobody can doubt the guy's ability, but by his own admission, he wasn't up to his own high standards last season. And this season, he got himself a goal. Was finished off a brilliant move that started with Van Dijk, then Harvey Elliott, Trent Alexander-Arnold, finished by Mane. But, we didn't really see the best of him against Chelsea, against a team that sat deep when we could have done with his pace and trickery in and around the penalty area. So the questions are still there about him. Where's this one? FSG think they can compete with the big dons like Roman and, well, I won't say that last word, mate, because I think it's a bit of a disrespectful term, but let's just say other owners. Where was the comment I tried to pull up a second ago? Yeah, this one. So front three needs changing, otherwise too predictable. Teams have already figured Mane out, excuse me. And that's another good point. That is a good point. Teams will know straight away how we're going to set up. The only real question will be, is it going to be Jota or Firmino in the 9 role? That's probably the only question that they're going to have to deal with or ask themselves. A couple of super chats I want to get through. Let's start one. Let's get to this one first. Where's this one? Sorry. You sexy Malfa. Small contribution to get you to Anfield. Let me know if you want to try chips from Norway. I'll sort you out. I do love a bag of crisps, mate, which I guess is what you're calling chips. So always send crisps my way, dude. I'm always happy to get crisps, and thank you. You're very kind. That did make me smile when I absolutely needed it. There's another one here that I want to get to as well. I think you've called it spot on, Craig. Salah to PSG, Mbappe to Real. With the lack of investment, wouldn't you do it? That's, my worry. Someone said to me the other day, Craig, these players wouldn't have signed contract renewals if they didn't believe in the club's trajectory. That could be true. I hope that to be true. I hope they know something we don't know. But until Mohamed Salah signs on that dotted line, I'm still going to have lingering doubts about the big superstar outside of Virgil van Dijk at the club and what his thought process is and what he's looking at. And does he think that he can win a Ballon d'Or or another Champions League or a Premier League title at Liverpool with the current owners and the current group? Any news on a shock transfer? No, and we are 21 minutes away, so I think we can all safely say that this ain't going to happen. Craig, we could be waiting for Haaland, says Sonny. Mate, I don't believe that to be the case. I don't think that. I don't think we want to deal with Mino Raiola, and I don't think, you know, if you've seen the wage packet that he apparently is looking for on top of Mino Raiola's 36 million. He wants Mino Raiola wants about 36 million to facilitate that transfer on top of a wage packet I'd seen reported somewhere of about 40 something million a year for Haaland. So if you think that's what we're waiting on, mate, then, you know, I'd very much doubt it. I'd be over the moon. Don't get me wrong, but I very, very, very much doubt it. Well, I keep pulling up the wrong ones. Craig, leave a 5 to 11. I'm going to start out my window. What's this one? There was someone here from Andy I wanted to get in because I do like to try and balance things out. Mane is a class act. Robbo Mane had a bad day against Chelsea, but Chelsea are a quality team. You sat back and defended really when they went down to 10 men. You know, that's a fair comment, Andy. You know, they did both have off days. And another thing to speak about when we talk about that game on the left-hand side is that Jordan Henderson really just looked a little bit out of kilter on that left where we'd normally see him on the right, but Elliott seems to be taking up that space on the right-hand side and very well, linking up well with Trent and with Salah. So, you know, it would have probably been more suited to Keita, who has a better link-up or wavelength with Sadio Mane. So it is a fair point, mate. They both did have off days, but the question still comes back to we didn't have the option to change to break it up. So players will have off days. That's sound. That happens. Nobody will disagree with you. But we didn't have any options to change it, mate, when it was clear that they were having those off days. We were able to bring on Kostas Tsimikas in the 85th minute, while Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Takumi Minamino, and Naby Keita sat on the bench because they weren't deemed that they could do it. Nobody believed. How can we believe that they'll be all right for the rest of the season if in that one moment when we were defending or we were attacking against a defensive team, that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who is noted for his direct running at pace, who does like a shot from distance, or Naby Keita, who has that little bit of trickery or can break a line, they weren't trusted in that moment. That to me speaks more volumes than anything I can say or anything that we can put in around transfers, is that in the moment when we needed to change against a title rival at home, when they were down to 10 men, when we could have laid a marker down, Jurgen Klopp looked at his bench and decided that the best option we had was a like-for-like replacement for Andy Robertson with Kostas Tsimikas. That, to me, says more than anything else that we can say. That you can say what you want, but you have to have the courage of your conviction. And if we think Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Minamino and Keita are good enough, then why the fuck weren't they used? So you can tell me what Klopp says. You can tell me that he doesn't think there are players out there that have the attributes of the ones that we have at the club. Then where were these attributes? Why were they not believed in when we had an opportunity to try and get a winner against Chelsea? Now, Chelsea were a damn good side, don't get me wrong. Very good in defensive situations, very well drilled. But look what they were able to do at half-time when they went down to 10 men. Look at the double change they made right at half-time. Been able to bring somebody of the experience of Thiago Silva into that back line to help them defend deep, put their bodies on the line and come away. You see how much they celebrated that point because they dug deep and they were able to see it out because they had options. What if we had have gone down to 10? What would our options have been? Could we have looked to the bench and have done something similar? I would suggest not. So that's where I am on it, ladies and gents. I'm just trying to be real about it. As I said, I have been live now for 3 hours and 12 minutes and the clock's ticking. I'm looking at Sky Sports right now, 15 minutes, 36 seconds. Still nothing happening. We are going to have to go into the rest of this, well, between now and January with what we have and pray. Because you know that the Bobby Firmino news is coming. We know it's in the background and it's coming. So it's just a matter of fingers crossed and how long is Bobby going to be out for. because we're already now down to the bare bones attack-wise. When we come back after the international break, we play Leeds United. Salah, Mane, Jota. That's it. There are attacking options. Because, I can't or won't believe that Origi or Firmino are chosen as viable options. Because in the big moments, they weren't good enough. They weren't deemed good enough. It's a good question here. I really do wonder what the feeling inside the camp are about signing, said Killian. So do I. I often wonder that, mate. And a part of me, I'd be lying if I say a part of me doesn't believe that maybe that's why Salah hasn't put pen to paper. Or like we said before, that Salah's agent seen 2 moves ahead and he's seen where Kylian Mbappe is going to end up. And, let's be honest here. Let's be real for a second. As much as we all know Mohamed Salah loves playing at Liverpool and as happy as he looks and as much as, he'll go down in folklore, if you're PSG in January and Salah hasn't signed and you have a word in his ear and say, mate, how do you fancy coming to Paris for a few years, earning a shitload of money, playing with probably the greatest footballer of our generation in Messi, Neymar, linking back up with Gini Wijnaldum, and all the great players like Verratti and Di Maria and Marquinhos and Donnarumma and Hakimi and all of those other players at PSG. You're going to tell me in good conscience that Mohamed Salah mightn't think to himself, playing alongside Messi, the Egyptian Messi and the real Messi with Neymar. You've got to say that on top of a huge wage packet and the fact he has 18 months left to go, it's certainly something he'd have to think about. As much as I'm sure he loves Liverpool and as much as he'll hopefully sign a new deal, it is going to be something that will be pitched. And this is something that we can see as mere mortals, as football fans, as idiots, as customers, as legacy fans, whatever you want to call us. We can see it. 12 minutes. No need to thank me, Mickey, mate. It's been always a pleasure to be on here with you guys. Now, if you do want to thank me, well, we're in the final few minutes here. You can sign up to the Ultimate Fan game by using the link in the description below. Ultimate Fan, new fantasy football game crossed with the concept of FIFA pack openings as well. Once you sign up using our link below, you'll be given a free 10-card pack to go into your team, and you'll score points based on things like goals, assists, shots on target, clean sheets, etc. Very much like FPL. You'll also receive a free 3-player pack every Tuesday of the 38 Premier League game weeks. There's £300,000 prize pot there to be won over the course of the season. And best of all, there are prizes to be won every single week. So it doesn't matter that you've missed the first couple of weeks. It's completely free to play this game. Use our link, sign up, completely free. But you can also buy gold and silver packs if you want to improve your team. But here's one of the reasons why we went on board with it. The maximum that you can spend in a month is £5. So it isn't something where we're trying to sell you that people are going to be gobbling up all of your cash. This game week alone, they gave away over £8,500 in prizes, with money being paid out to people that finished as low down as 300th. It is available to UK and Irish residents, age 18 plus only. But again, it's free. So do yourself a favor, have a little look at it. There is a link in the description. That lets them know that we sent you, and it is entirely free. And we'll be doing some content on it throughout the season as well. Baldbridge, how are you, Christopher? Nice to see you in, mate. Oh, big man. I'm with you. You couldn't have summed up my feelings better, mate. When I turn off this camera tonight after 11 o'clock, mate, I'm going to be like an antichrist. I'm going to be at home. I'm going to be pissed off. And I'm probably going to have to sit in the back garden for a while to calm down, because I'm like you, mate. I'm extremely disappointed and frustrated. Where's Brian? I seen Brian there a second ago. Oh, he was just telling somebody to calm down. Good man, Brian. And again, yeah, please. That we're going to have a bit of banter in our Anfield Agenda members group as well around the Ultimate Fan game. So if you are one of our members, expect me to be pitting my wits against you every single week as well to see how good you are at the Ultimate Fan game. So for people that are members of Anfield Agenda FC, the Discord group is there. Expect the banter, because, I'm going to give it my best shot. I won't lie to you. I like winning. I'm competitive. Let's see what you got. Let's see if you can beat us. Craig, can any player from the bench I don't know what you mean by that word, mate. Sorry, Igor, I'm not understanding the word, that particular word, mate. It might be just my severe lack of Shea Ojo loan to Millwall. There we go. Thank you for that, Kieran. So that's another one out the door. And we have 9 minutes and 50 seconds left to go. Again, we're all sitting here, aren't we, praying that there's something right on 11, but oh, this is fucking frustrating, isn't it? No ambition, says somebody in the chat. No ambition. That's what it feels like, mate. It's very deflating. Look at the bounce other clubs are getting out of this window. United fans are walking on air at the minute. Not only did they bring back Cristiano Ronaldo, but they've also, brought in Jadon Sancho and Rafael Varane. And we as Liverpool fans right now are sitting around. Sorry, I just noticed something there. We as Liverpool fans are sitting around now, scratching our heads, going, "Fuck, so close." Hydrate, says Joanne. I need a drink, you're right. Now, again, some more positives if there is any. I'm going to be taking off from Thursday through to Monday, folks, because I'm going to take advantage of the international window to refresh mentally myself. So we won't be doing anything from Thursday right through. I'll stream on Thursday night, but then we won't be doing that until Monday. Tomorrow, I will be on That's Football covering the Portugal-Ireland game with Mark Goldbridge. But I'm going to stay on. Just in case. We're going to keep going like I promised. Bad vibes, said somebody else. Frustrating, mate. Frustrating. Where's the money, John? Says, Mutt, say what you see. Where is the money? Been saying that all window, mate. All window. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please do hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on the video as well. We've been streaming now 3 hours and 20 minutes. And fair play to you. A lot of you guys have stuck with us for the long haul. Jack was already on earlier on, Mick. He was on from 9 till just before 10. We had Jack on for a chat. This is just sad, mate. Where's Kyle Flano in the chat as well? Downloaded the game, Craig. Got Mason Mount as the goal card. There you go. Mason Mount, not too shabby. And again, the Ultimate Fan game, absolutely free. So we're not trying to sell you out in here. This is free. Just use our link in the description below. That helps us. Lets them know we sent you. And of course, we do get a little something for each person that goes over. That's how this stuff works. That's how we keep the channel moving. But it is absolutely free to use, free to play. Maximum £5 spend a month. That's all you can do to buy the gold and silver packs. They'll only let you spend a maximum of £5 in a month. You do have to be age 18 or over and a UK or Irish resident. Shea Ojo was left on loan. Yep, we spoke about that one, mate. I'm just looking up here as well. Serge Aurier and Tottenham mutually terminate his deal as well. So Aurier and Tottenham have torn up his contract, meaning he's now technically a free agent. So he can go and not that we want him, but I'm just saying he can go and sign elsewhere. That's a little bit of breaking news as well. All download the app, said Josh Crouch. Top man, really appreciate it. It does help us out, mate. And again, the more people we get in, the more banter and competition we can have as well throughout the season as we see how good or bad we all are. What's this one though? So someone caught my attention there. Yeah. Fuck it, Craig. It's mental. No transfers, chum. You're a true jet, my man, said Nathan Hogg. Mate, I've secretly been longing for the window to close because it's killed me every day to come on here and a lot of the time be the bearer of bad news to people because I refuse to lie and get people's hopes up. But part of me can't wait for the window to close because then we only focus on what's going on the pitch. But the rational part of me as well knows that there's probably a few headaches ahead and a few injury concerns that could have been entirely avoidable. So, yeah, I'm with a heavy heart looking forward to the window being closed because at least then we can focus on one thing only, and that is what goes on the pitch. As much as, it's just not good enough. There's just nothing I can say that's going to change the fact that this has been a shambles of a window. When Klopp goes, we're done. Mate. JT says, it ain't your fault, Craig. If anything, at least we can watch you while we're disappointed in FSG. Look, I suppose what we can take from this, if anything, is that even in spite of FSG not investing in the squad, we still have a good group that can do great things. We'll need a bit of luck. We'll need some players to stay injury-free. We'll need a few decisions to go our way. But, you know, we're still capable. I'm trying to cling on to a positive because we believe in the manager. We love the group of players that we have. Nobody's trying to knock that side of it. I think all of our frustration here is aimed squarely at the owners. Some people believe Klopp is happy with the squad that he has. I don't fall into that camp, I have to say. Every time I've heard him speaking about it, it seems to be midfield. I've yet to really, to my knowledge, I don't remember him really saying that he doesn't need an attacker. He spoke about midfield a lot. He spoke about attributes of players and all, but yeah. I'm just reading here again. Just again, Sky in Italy reporting Griezmann is going to re-sign from Barcelona to Atleti on an initial loan with an obligation to buy for just over £34 million. Oh, man. I knew this was going to come next on it, and I'm not having a go at you, but this is what always happens. This sounds depressing, but are there any decent forwards without a club going for free? I mean, mate, I'm not digging at you because I knew it was coming, and I knew that'll be the next thing people are looking at as well. We need bodies. You're right, we do. But God almighty, how embarrassing is it that we're even having to have this conversation? Ryan said, can't wait for this window to close. I'm done with it. Now let's focus on Klopp and the boys. FSG out, mate. This window has only made me get more angrier at the owners than I thought was possible. I thought the Super League would have piqued my anger. This is like a fuck you to us from the owners. I think I missed the super chat from Mutz. I did. I can't pull it up on screen, mate. Oh, hang on. I can. Yep, there it is. Whatever happened to the links to Marcus Thuram? He was linked to Spurs too. Can play across the front three. It was about 35 million recently. Sick. I have to be honest here, Mutz, and say I don't remember those links, dude. That's, again, me just being honest. I'm not saying they were or weren't there, but yeah, he hasn't moved anywhere by the looks of it. Not that I'm aware of. Again, thank you for your super chat, dude. We are 2 minutes and 37 seconds away from, I don't want to say the abyss, but I'm just reading some of your disappointed comments, and I feel you all. I feel every single one of you that feels let down now and frustrated and angry at the owners. Honestly, I feel every single one of your complaints and comments. I do. Origi will be leaving for free next season. What's the point? Exactly. He will be leaving for free. United will end our happiness at somebody else. Craig, where's this one? Somebody said, Craig, did you expect a big summer, or did you see this coming? Why does this keep moving? 1 second, where's it gone? This one. Craig, did you expect a big summer to see this move? Genuinely, I expected an attacker and a midfielder to come in on top of Canada, who I've always said, in my opinion, was making up for last summer's, or last winter's, no, it was last summer. Yeah, making up for the fact we didn't replace Lovren. So, this has shocked me, I have to say. It really has shocked me that we haven't at least brought in attacking reinforcement. I didn't even think they were going to be this stingy. I have to say, yeah, it did shock me. I didn't see it coming. And again, that's on me for even giving them any benefit of the doubt when everything suggested that they are going to give us a massive fuck you, which is what we've gotten from them yet again. There's one there. FSG out. It's beyond embarrassing, said Neil Kavanagh. And Neil will be, a rational fan. John W. Henry bought a boat worth 65 million. Obviously, his money, he can do what he wants with it. Frustrate me. Well, as you said, mate, it is his money. He can do what he wants with it, but it is our football club, and we can defend it, and we can speak up, and we can speak out. And I have a feeling that is what's going to happen. A lot of football fans, a lot of Liverpool fans will be speaking out. The window is closing in 28 seconds. When Chelsea win the league and United or City win the Champions League, I'll be even more angry, because I know, just like last year, it takes one more signing to help, said Philip Hunt. Mate, I'm with you. I feel you. I agree with you. And it will make me even angrier, and we'll have to suffer the banter, and we'll have to suffer the excuses. 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Window shut. Transfer window closed. Ibrahima Konate is the only first team addition that FSG have sanctioned this summer, while moving on Lee Miller, Camille Grabara, Marco Grujic, Che Ojo, Awioni, Harry Wilson. I said Shaqiri, didn't I? In profit. A profitable transfer window for our owners, Fenway Sports Group. The investment from Jerry Cardinal and Redbird, supposed to help build us up for the future. Buy another club, feeder club, help Liverpool bring through players. Where's any of this? We've been royally fucking shafted yet again. I'm just seeing it. All I'm seeing is FSG out in the chat. I can't argue with you. That's where I am at this point. I'm Jurgen Klopp in. I'm the players in. I'm fully behind them. As I said, when this window slams shut, I will be behind these players and the manager 100% for the rest of the season. But we'll also be free and within our rights to call out when we are lacking in places in the season, when the injuries come, when we have no one to turn to on the bench, when we're looking and seeing the same faces that the manager doesn't feel can change the game. So, you know, it's just going to cause more tension. It's just going to cause more anger, and it's going to cause more aggro within an already fractured fan base. Even Everton signed fucking Rondon on a free today, by the way, who I wouldn't have had at Liverpool, don't get me wrong. But at least they did something. Brought a body in to give Benitez some hope. Feel sorry for Craig. He's literally been on this for 4 hours just to see no new signings. Yep, and it's not been easy, mate. I've not. I knew what was coming today. I knew when I was coming on that we were probably going to get fuck all, being that I was going to get a lot of angry people. But I believe that it's my job to front up here and allow people to vent. You're our community. You should be given the platform to vent. Just tops off knowing that let me see if I can find this super chat on the screen before I pull it up. No, I can't. This comes in from Elliot White. Said, just tops off knowing that when we're supposed to have rumours, big next summer rebuild, we won't have Michael Edwards, said Elliot White. Now, Elliot, of course, it's not confirmed that Edwards will leave, but his contract is up. And, you know, as things stand, he has informed the club that he does want to have a new chapter in his working life. So, you know, I hope, like you, mate, that can be changed. But this, to me, some of us feels like it stinks. You know, Genie felt like he was biting his tongue on something. Hendo was unhappy, and that came out publicly. Salah hasn't been renewed. It just feels like there's something that we don't know is going on. And I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be on here bitching and moaning about anything. I want to be just concentrating on footballing matters. But I can't, in good conscience, sit here and say that I believe that our manager has been given the most that this club can give him. Because, look, we're realistic. A Doku and a Bissouma would have been a window where most of us, on top of obviously the signing of Ibrahima Konate, would have gone, yep, all right, 70 million quid investment there, let's say, maybe 75 million quid investment. And we'd have all gone, we can do it this year. We can go on. And the morale would have been high within the fan base. Shirt sales would have probably flown up as well because people would have been a lot more optimistic. And of course, a new player or two coming in, you might have sold a few Basuma shirts or Doku shirts or whatever, and everything would have been lifted. The morale at the fan base and the club would have been high. But what have we got to do? No, we get the PR stunt of putting Jordan Henderson's contract renewal out. In my opinion, disrespecting the captain of the football club on a day where Hendo should have had his own day. We should have had it. Hendo should have had his own day where we get to celebrate Henderson signing a new deal and, thanking the captain. But now the fucking cunts, and I'm using that word, put it out on transfer deadline day and once again disrespected, in my opinion, our captain. This was an opportunity for us wasted to buy O'Driscoll. So many clubs ripe for the pick, and keep up the great work. The honest reporting, keep up the great work. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. At least my honesty has been. Some people have given me credit for that because I get abused over a lot of stuff, but I'll always be honest. That's all I've said. I've never told anybody lies throughout this transfer window, so I can look in the mirror. What's up, Ballbridge from County Meath? How are you, Kieran, mate? I hope you're well. Lovely to see you in the chat. Appreciate you dropping in. Look, 11:05. We're hanging around in case. I don't even know what I'm fucking hoping for at this point. Joanne, thank you for the super sticker. Very kind of you. Oh, I honestly feel numb at this point, ladies and gentlemen. I feel genuinely, I just feel numb. I don't know if Connor's still in the background there, if he wants to come in and give us his final thoughts on it before we move on. I'm sick of these. What's this? I'm sick of these. Where's our protest? FSGO, please. I think you'll see that ramp up, mate. Twitter, I'm not going to be on Twitter tonight. I might put out one tweet and walk away, but it's not good enough. I can't believe, by the way, that Real Madrid PSG turned down £189 million from Real Madrid for Mbappe. I can't believe that. Like, no sane club would do that knowing that they'd be able to lose the guy for free, or will lose him for free, because he's already told them he's going to sign for Madrid. Again, Connor's just putting his earphones in and getting connected up, so we'll get his final thoughts in a minute or two. So bear with me while I just get ready for Connor. I'll read a few comments out while we're... Did Saul go to Chelsea? Yes, I believe 5 million fee. He's joined there on loan. I'm not sure if there is an option to buy, or maybe Connor would have that information if there is an option. Your mic's it's unmuted now. Did you hear Connor?
Saul, was it?
Yeah, did they get that done?
Yeah, I think it's an option to buy, as far as I can tell. I'm not sure on a fee or anything, but Fabrizio gave it the here we go and everything, so I presume it's done.
Somebody saying, who's today's sponsor? Not a sponsorship, mate, because, in this one, we need you guys to download the app in order for it to work for us in any way, but it is the Ultimate Fan app, and the link is in the description. I've pitched it enough tonight. I don't need to do it again. Connor, your final thoughts, mate, on the transfer window now that it has slammed shut, and one of the first posts I seen afterwards was, "Are there any free players around out of contract?" That summed it all up.
Yeah, you're looking at, like, even you saying Everton even signing Rondon for free, and we're a little bit jealous of that. That is the level we're at here. We're kind of jealous of Everton signing fucking Solomon Rondon for free. Like, how depressing is this?
It's very depressing. Colin Kirwan said, I'll bring you out in the lash. Good day for Leeds, not so good for the pool. I think Liverpool still in the league. We'll be in Leeds actually on Friday, mate. So you could bring us out in the lash. Look, let's be honest. We wouldn't take Rondon, but at least they went out there and addressed an area their manager felt like that they were short in. And look, Leicester, Ademola Lookman on loan from Leipzig. That's a good piece of business again.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've said it so many times, but there's so many players. Like, we've always said FSG look for value. There's value everywhere this summer. Like, this was the summer to go and buy players for cheap, and we just completely sat on our arse and done nothing. TRM Viper said, thanks for a great stream. It's just a shame. So many sentiments, LFC Shay as well. So many sentiments here, just people just feel
that word. It's a shame, and that they're angry, and I understand their anger.
It's a complete missed opportunity, really.
When did I haven't been on Twitter tonight at all. When did the Suarez stuff start to bounce off on Twitter?
From what I've seen, I'd say about maybe 10 o'clock. I think once the Griezmann to Atletico stuff was done, people were just putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 17. Yeah, nothing to it in the end, unfortunately.
It's and to me again, I just will reiterate what I said. It was no accident that Jordan Henderson was announced today. It's frankly disgusting, in my opinion, that the captain has his day taken away from him by trying to do it on deadline day in order to think that it's going to placate the fan base when it hasn't. And again, if Henderson felt disrespected before, I don't know how he feels today. Maybe he's okay with it. But for me, Connor, it just seemed like a far too obvious thing to be done, and another reason to have some ire or some anger towards the owners.
I think what pisses me off most is like, how stupid do they think we are? Like, obviously we're going to see through this stuff. Like, it's like we all called it a week ago. It'll definitely get pushed off until deadline day. They'll announce that, nice bit of PR. Everyone will be happy. That's in their head. They think, oh, everyone will be celebrating in the street because we have a new player on a contract. Obviously, it's good news, but no, that's not really how the world works.
Daniel Lavin said Villa gets Ings as a backup striker, says it all. Well, I suppose that kind of was funded by sales, but Villa have spent a lot of money, a lot more money than us over the past few seasons, in fairness. And yes, they did bring in Danny Ings, they brought in Buendia, and they brought in Leon Bailey.
Do you reckon last season summer played into this though? Because you know the way Jota was basically pushed back to this season. We only paid like 4 million last season, so the first real payment of that was this season. So like in Liverpool's books, was it almost like we signed nobody last season, but then we signed Kanate and Jota this season in the finances?
I think from what I remember, it was 9.5 million we paid up front for Diogo Jota, with the remainder spread over the course of his contract, which is a 5-year deal, I believe. And
I think it was less than that. I think it was like only 2 or 4. It was basically it was pushed back a year almost.
There's not much I'm usually confident on, but I'm almost certain it was about 9.5 million. And Thiago was 5 million and then 5 a year for 4 years. But look, I don't know, mate, how football accounting works on the books. I don't know how it works and stuff like that. So, I'd be lying if I said I know one way or the other. But
the fact that we're even discussing this as an option, like, is just ridiculous.
Yep. It sends us all into the international break with frustration and waiting and hoping that there's no injuries to our players, of which there probably will. No, some people in chat are saying you're absolutely spot on, Connor. It was 4 mil or 4.4 million. Somebody else said for his first name for Jota.
It was 4 million, and then I think 12 million this summer or something like that.
Fair. Again, always open to be corrected if I'm wrong, and thank you. I always say I learn a lot from her chat at times. I'm annoyed at transfer. Look, loads of us, we're all annoyed. We're all annoyed. Again, Barcelona were ripe for the picking in this window. And we didn't even try and disrupt them or try and get the likes of Pedri out of there, or we just sat back and watched as our rivals strengthened and Leicester strengthened, who were, just shy of a Champions League place last year. Spurs strengthened and kept Harry Kane. We brought in last year's reinforcement in defence. That's literally where we've been, Connor. We've covered last year's fuck up.
Yeah, this should have been done last season, shouldn't it?
Liam said, unfortunately, feels like we'll have FSG out until we give up again, like Super League. I'm done with it all. Get them out of the club, mate. I think that my gut feeling is that the anti-FSG stuff is only going to ramp up now even more severely. And look, we're going to call it a night there, ladies and gentlemen, because we've been coming up on 4 hours live streaming now, in the hope beyond hope that something last minute might come in, but we have been left wanting yet again by our owners. And I hope that Jurgen Klopp can can keep this side relatively injury free, and that we have the best season that we can have. And I'll continue to back the players, as will Connor and the manager. But we do need to start asking more questions of the owners, and how that comes about will, I'm sure, be made clear over the coming days and weeks as Liverpool fans have their say on it. I don't know about you, buddy, but for me, I'm left feeling numb at the minute.
Yeah, I think I was kind of just expecting this last few days. Like, we don't really tend to do much towards the end of the window. We always like to get it done early. So I suppose the signs from the start was that we brought in Kanate. I think that was announced in was it April or May? I think it was pretty much done at that stage. And we haven't really heard much since. So I think it's been coming. So I think I'm just, like you said, a bit numb. But I think I've just been expecting this, to be honest.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, before I head off for the night, just one last pitch for Ultimate Fan, which is a free fantasy football game that incorporates the concept of FIFA pack openings into the experience. There is a link in the description below, and once you sign up, you'll be given a free 10-pack of cards to put into your team. You'll score points based on things like goals, clean sheets, tackles won, all that kind of stuff like in FPL. There's £300,000 prize pool there to be given out throughout the course of the season, and it's absolutely free to sign up to use the app. You can play for the entire season without spending a penny, and you have the chance to win. This week, as an example alone, £8,500. They paid out cash prizes right down to the person that came in 300th place. You get every week as well on a Tuesday, you get 3 new cards to improve your squad. And if you want to add in silver or gold packs, you can do so for a maximum of £5 a month. A maximum of £5 a month. It is open to UK and Irish residents, age 18 plus. And we will be using it throughout the season to basically brag about who's good and who's bad. So do us a favor, download the game with the link in the description below. Again, completely free to play. Why not give it a bash? See what you think. If you don't like it, don't use it. Look, there's one more super chat before I finish up, and it's simply FSG, get out of our beautiful club. I'm going to leave it there for the night, ladies and gentlemen. Drop a like on the video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I'll be back tomorrow with... no, I won't. I'll be back on Thursday with a late night agenda. Tomorrow, I'll be on That's Football with Mark for Portugal versus Ireland. I will see you guys soon. Sorry it didn't work out better. We're all left frustrated, but we know where to aim that frustration. It belongs in one place and one place only, and that is with the owners of the football club. Take care. God bless. Lots of love. We'll talk to you soon.